And good Friday morning, everybody. Happy January 13th. I hear myself echoing.
Do you? You sound fine.
Oh, you know what it is?
Oh, Eric's not muted.
Eric's set. Eric's headphones. Eric's something from Eric's desk. No, I hear. Yeah, it's his headset. Anyway, hey, happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in. Like I said, we just keep it going all along. No, now I don't hear myself, buddy. Now we're up and running. There we go. Hello, Patriots. Patriots, as Tabitha likes to say. Maybe I don't like that word because it's the New England Patriots and my disgust for them. They messed up. They stole the verb or the word. Anyway, welcome into our show. It's canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson will be here. Scotty Gherkin on camera, heading back over to his spot. Ready to have a good show today. Oh, I didn't even think about Friday the 13th.
I didn't think about it either.
We're all so busy too. It's like, what?
And to mix that up, they had the green comet last night.
Oh my gosh, what happened with the green comet?
I don't know. Apparently around 4 a.m. this morning, there was a green comet that no one has seen since the Stone Ages.
That's it. That's why we're having video problems. The green comet.
The green comet came through. And you're older than the Stone Ages. Isn't that what you said yesterday?
I feel like it today.
When you were a little girl, do you remember seeing the green comet?
I think so. But you know what's people were comparing it to? I have no idea what that noise was. I think there's a ghost following Scotty and I.
No, that was his can.
Oh, is that what that noise was?
Mellow out, man. Friday the 13th has gotten into her head.
Well,
are you on edge today?
I am on edge day, like I told you guys when I came in.
She's on cancel this today. The edge, not the edge.
What happened? What were you talking about?
All these like strange things keep happening. I got out of the car yesterday. My mom was with me. It didn't happen to just me. And I'm like walking away from my car and it started by itself. It's a Jeep. It doesn't have fancy technology. And it just started by itself. And it completely freaked me out.
Okay.
Something
I don't believe you anymore. You know that. Because what do I say?
It happened to Scotty too.
What do I say your middle name is?
I know you call me Drama.
Tabitha Drama.
But that's only because weird things happen to me, as you know.
I know. Something will happen before the weekend's over that Tabitha will come in and say, or she will text us and go, "Oh my gosh, I just saw like the craziest thing." Or
I know.
A person just came up to me and said, "This is what I'm feeling about you."
That's I don't know about that, but but strange things. I always say if there's going to be something that falls out of the sky, it's going to fall out of the sky. It's not going to hit me, but it's going to hit the person next to me so that I can go on and tell the story.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Hey, it is canceltheshow.com. Go to our website, check out your live streaming platform, and of course, all of our original content, the podcasts there. Like, follow, subscribe, let people know, share the show, as we always talk about. We appreciate all the support that we're getting. We're continuing to do everything that we can with the best stories we can and having the conversations that you don't get a lot of other places. I am so enthused, Tabitha Hassel, so enthused about what's happening in Washington, D.C., what's happening with media. And I don't care if it's because the puppet masters want Biden gone now, but for the first time since I can remember, I see some equality in reporting, some press conferences happening where you're actually getting the other story that are being covered regarding Joe Biden, illegal classified documents in his possession and in multiple places. Unfreaking believable what's happening. The other thing about that situation is it's not going away.
It's not going away because he's on his exit out the door.
Bum, bum, bum.
They are ushering him out. The puppet master.
I'm glad you see it, right?
Oh, we saw it yesterday. We talked about this yesterday. The puppet master has made up their mind. They're queuing Biden's exit.
Love every single minute of it.
Bringing someone else in.
Okay, that's the other part. That's what we're talking about when we're kicking off the show this morning. We got other things to get into. And by the way, I love how national media is now jumping around. Like Joe Rogan, who we like and respect what he does, the work. He's now going after George Soros. And it's like, really? How long have we been doing this? 3 years. Haven't we been sounding the bell on George Soros for years? Tabitha asked our circuit attorney in St. Louis. We're a podcast based out of St. Louis, but we're a national show with national content. Asked Kim Gardner, our St. Louis circuit attorney, are you funded by George Soros? And she said yes. Now Joe Rogan's finally coming to the party saying, hey, do you realize he's funding people in different cities? And it's like, yeah, we've been talking about it for a long time. Yes. Thank you, Joe, for bringing it up, because it makes you wonder, why would he be putting all that money in where he is? So we'll get into that story a little bit later. Did you know that since March of 2021, there's been 350 UFO sightings in the United States, and or at least reported? There's a certain amount of those, over 50%, that are still unaccounted for. We still have zero idea. Now, starting off with the Joe Biden deal, these classified documents, there's no way to talk around them. It's a national embarrassment. I don't see Democrats sticking up for them. I saw one guy out of Georgia. Well, I think we need to look at these being planted. Like, oh yeah, they were planted. Yeah, somebody planted the documents.
Oh
The
no,
the
come
class.
on.
Now you got some dumbass in some Georgia politician. I'll look him up. This guy has to be the dumbest guy in Congress,
No one has planted
saying
anything.
that, oh, these have to have been planted. So now it's a big deal. This is as big as it gets, and not just because of what they were doing, but also because of what we're now finding out. You said this yesterday. Why is the information now coming out? What led to the finding of these documents? Something else. Was it the laptop? Oh, we talked about that. I think you brought that up yesterday. I think you did.
I'm not sure.
And here's why I
I
bring
think
it up.
maybe Eric did.
Because after our show ended yesterday morning,
Mhm.
there was a press conference
Yes.
with House members in Congress, Republican House members going, and you'll hear what they have to say. It's about 3, 4, or 5 minutes long. And when we play it, Scotty, if you can fast forward the beginning, it's like 10 seconds, 20 seconds in when they start, because
Okay.
you'll see them walking up to stage. The connection. It's not just classified documents being there. It's like, what led to us finding out where these documents were, and what more is it leading to? And the hypocrisy regarding Donald Trump, because I want to get into that too. Do you think Trump set Biden up?
No.
I'm gonna, and there's something I mean by that.
Do you mean that he knew
Because
he had
he knew,
classified documents?
yes,
It's
because
possible.
every
It's
president
possible.
knows what's there and what's not.
Absolutely, they do.
And somebody, I'm wondering if Trump knew, oh, he's got classified documents. That's
Well-
illegal. If I do something that's like, I'll just sit on this, let him fry himself in that pan, and then boom. I'm just, don't put it past Trump.
I understand where you're going with this, and I want to make sure I understand. And that Trump, as president, coming in after Obama, knew that there were documents missing, because he
Yes.
probably went back to try to look at, where's the documents for Burisma, where's the documents for Afghanistan, where are the documents for Ukraine, and so on. And so maybe he took those classified documents and he knew they weren't there because he looked for them. Is that along the lines of what you mean?
Yes. And then he knew that he would jump on that grenade while people said, oh, he's got classified, knowing that in the end, he would be fine, and that he would bring Joe Biden down, because he knew that once Joe ripped him, and Joe ripped him, Joe says it's completely irresponsible for him to have it. Oh, and then guess what? Now, who's in the hot seat? It's Joe Biden.
But here's the bigger question than anything. These documents were discovered, at least the first set, not the second set. The second set was just discovered this past Wednesday evening.
Yeah, and there's 2 sets.
There's 2 sets.
Yeah, I thought there were 3.
I thought there might have been 3 also, because it was very confusing, because they talked about these documents during the day on Wednesday, but then they say they didn't find them till Wednesday evening. So it was a little confusing yesterday, but they found the original set of documents before the midterms. So they sat on those.
November 2nd, they were first found.
And they sat on those. We know why, of course. So why is it now all of a sudden they're wanting to bring this out? Who made that decision that, okay, we're going to sit on them, now's the time to bring them out? Is it because now we're talking 2024 and what's going to happen in 2024? It's like now their cue is to get him out and usher the new person in?
And that's going on, but also Hunter Biden laptop information. This is bizarre, and it's all kind of connecting in. Just listen to this press conference from yesterday. Scotty's going to go ahead and pop that up. This blew my. I can't remember a press conference like this happening. At least with Republicans going after Democrats.
Here. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Today, we're going to provide you with something that you all aren't used to with respect to congressional investigations, and that's evidence. Committee Republicans have spoken with multiple whistleblowers from numerous schemes involving the Biden family, reviewed Hunter Biden's laptop, and received documents of previously unknown transactions. What we found are business plans aimed at targets around the world based on influence peddling, including with people closely tied to foreign governments like China and Russia. We also found plans based in the United States where the Biden family swindled investors of hundreds of thousands of dollars, all with Joe Biden's participation and knowledge. In 2019, shortly after announcing his campaign for president, Joe Biden told the American people he had nothing to do with and never had conversations with his family about their business dealings. That was a lie. Whistleblowers described President Biden as chairman of the board for these businesses. He personally participated in meetings and phone calls. Documents show that he was a partner with access to an office. To be clear, Joe Biden is the big guy. This evidence raises troubling questions about whether President Biden is a national security risk and about whether he is compromised by foreign governments. Despite the president's claim that he wasn't involved in Biden family business schemes, these photos show Joe Biden meeting with his family associates while vice president. Right there behind Paul. 4 different pictures. Committee Republicans have identified over 50 countries the Biden family sought businesses in. On the international side of the Biden family business, the deals were often led by Hunter Biden. And that map there behind Clay shows all the countries where the Bidens had a footprint in international business dealings. The investigation reveals a family that engaged with some of America's most powerful adversaries, planning to sell one of the largest sources of cobalt for electric vehicles in the world to the Chinese, for example. The Bidens flourished and became millionaires by simply offering access to the family. Among the dozens of shell companies the Bidens set up, there were millions of dollars of wire transfers, flights on Air Force Two to conduct personal business, and meetings with heads of state, all while Joe Biden was aware of what was happening. All the while, he turned a blind eye. Many transactions related to these businesses have raised red flags at U.S. banks.
Can you believe that? Tabitha, did I overplay that? I mean, can you believe the connections?
No, it's huge.
Holy crap.
But it's what we always knew.
I know. Well,
It's what we always knew, but now we have that validation. How often, Vic, do we say
you know
that?
what? This is it's a validation tour. That's what Cancel this is, a validation tour of the last 3 years.
Don't you feel like we say this every single day? That finally that's validation to what we've been talking about for the past couple years.
Yes.
Validation after validation. But why are we seeing all these validations in the past 6 months or so? Things we always knew. Now all of a sudden we have proof.
Scotty.
Yes.
When you listen to that, how did that make you feel?
Vindicated.
Yeah. Joe Biden is going down. He's going down.
He
and
is.
and it's not us, we're saying something crazy. There is no way in hell he's running for office again. I still don't think
I think
Democrats.
that's more the plan is to get him away from running again. Like this is the beginning of the end, but I don't think anything's going to happen to him.
I don't know. I really, I've always said, Scotty, all along, I don't think anything will ever happen. And for the first time, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe something will. I don't know, though, because look at Hillary Clinton and the email scandal. Nothing ever happened to her. Even with Donald Trump in office,
but she wasn't president.
nothing happened to her. And that's true, but Hunter is not president either.
No.
I mean, is anything going to happen to Hunter? I don't know. I think it's possible. Is anything going to happen to Joe Biden? He's going to retire to his nursing home in the basement.
Deep state just wants to do away with him. He has been used how he has been planned to be used. Time's up. The American people will not vote for Joe Biden again. There's no way in hell if they did the first time. There's no way in hell it's happening. Things are changing. Connections are being lost. Nancy Pelosi doesn't have the speakership anymore. I just feel as if there's something. We've gotten to the end. Joe Biden, they could have covered this up and they didn't. And we know that these weren't placed illegally. I found out who it was. This goofball. I mean, you want to talk about a goofball politician? I mean, look up this guy, Hank. This is the guy that came in. Hank. His name, where did I just have? I think it was Hank Johnson. Yeah, Hank Johnson. He says, well, I think foul play was involved.
I know. That's
Hank,
the craziest thing I've ever heard.
This guy's a nut job. Hank Johnson, you are a nut job. I'm sorry. To come out in public and say that when his White House press secretary had already said they were inadvertently put there. She already said it. So then this goofball, this uneducated man, gets up there and starts blabbing his mouth. Oh, there's foul play. No, there's no foul play.
There's no foul play.
There's no foul play.
Old Joe, the big guy, Peter, he had these files in his garage next to his vehicle. Did you see all the files stacked up?
Yeah,
in his garage.
The best meme is the car with him inside of it that says Car-a-Lago.
I know, I love that.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty good.
It's in your text. You go back and check your text.
Jeff asked a good question that I wanted to ask you guys because I haven't had time to look into this, but something about Biden's lawyers are the ones finding the documents. What is the story behind that?
Well, they were aides. Some people say his aides were attorneys, and that could be the case.
Okay.
But his aides were definitely the ones that found the original documents. Now, they haven't said as much about the second set. Was it the FBI? Was it investigators? Maybe that was the aides also that found the second set. Have you heard?
I have not. There was just a comment on here. I heard mention of it yesterday on one of the stations, whatever it was, say something about the attorneys were the ones doing the investigation in the garage. And I'm like, well, the attorneys, who are the attorneys?
The attorneys are probably his aides. I know the aides that found the first set they call them aides, whether they're attorneys or not attorneys, they're still his aides. So I'm thinking it's probably the same folks.
Fair enough. I wanted some clarification on that too. Sorry.
Well, so you've got the classified documents. Now you have, Republicans coming out and connecting the dots in press conferences that the national media, will not cover. They're covering the classifieds, but they're refusing to cover the dirty play with Biden, his son, and everybody across the Ukraine, China. It is coming. And then we also find out, in the midst of documents being found at the think tank, his presidential center at Penn University, now we find out $54.6 million to fund it. Guess where it came from? Anonymous Chinese donors. Is Trump getting Chinese donors? No. Joe Biden. Is there a connection with his son, Hunter Biden, in China? Yes. Why are the communist Chinese donating $54.6 million for his think tank at the University of Pennsylvania? I mean, hello. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and more's coming.
What was your degree was in journalism, right?
Yeah.
Did you what kind of journalism degree? Investigative reporting. How much of your degree was in that, or was it just serious questions? I'm serious.
You don't have investigate. I mean,
and what is the definition of investigative
reporting? Is one of those. There's not a class for it.
Okay.
Necessarily, what it is you get into and you just start to learn. Investigative journalism or investigative reporting should be part of what everybody learns from the get-go.
It seems that way.
And it's just like you uncover every stone, you talk about fact, you talk to every person that could be involved.
Right.
I think where it changed over time is where news stations don't give you the time that you need to do a really good story.
Okay.
It's all about content. We got to get stuff out quick.
Okay.
We got multiple stories because all these consultants that have no idea how to do good, solid news. We got to have content, and they don't give you the resources to do it.
Right.
So then when you give a reporter time to do it, it all of a sudden becomes investigative because there's no class. Hey, we're going to go learn how to be an investigative reporter. Now, there are certain chapters and books that teach you.
Yes.
But it's not like it's some special skill.
I always thought of investigative reporting as you're just one step above a private eye. I really did. Who, what, where, when, why, how. That's what they teach you in journalism school. That's what what's the story, and then you just kind of go down the line.
Well, it's looking into the story versus reading a teleprompter and reporting
because what Vic just did there is he just put a bunch of rhetorical questions together, and I'm like, to me, I'm like, as a reporter, as a person on camera reading a teleprompter with a bunch of people reading a teleprompter, what makes local and national news sound stupid to me, and when I say the word lie, I think of the word, here it is. You've just laid out an entire basket of questions that we need answers to. Well, when you go to a doctor, you have a lump on your chest. The doctor knows how to ask the proper questions to figure out what that lump means. Mm-hmm. Is it benign? Is it a tumor? Do you need surgery tomorrow? Can you let it wait? You can ask the pertinent questions. The doctor in front of you goes, I'm a professional. Here's what you need to do to resolve this thing. Vic, as a reporter from the University of Missouri, coming out of Missouri and working in some very highly established places.
Not until J school.
Okay. Well,
graduate school. I didn't go to J school at Mizzou until grad school.
Okay. Well, he's the professional in the room. He's the one that we should go, Vic, how do we get those answers and how do we get them televised in the next tonight? Because we're asking the pertinent questions. Why in the hell are we calling a couple of Biden lawyers assistants?
Well,
why are we calling an aide? Why in the hell do you have documents coming out of the White House as the vice president of the United States, not the president, as the white vice president who made their way to two different locations? One went over here to the Penn Biden Center. One went over here to the garage by the vet. How did you, if you are such, and here's the other thing. Biden keeps saying, I respect, or what does he always say? He goes, documents I take very seriously. No, you don't, because you split these documents up for some reason. If you thought it was so serious to take them out of the National Archives or out of the White House, you wouldn't have done it because you don't take it serious.
It's easy to explain why this happened here. All the people who surround the president, no matter who president, they're all called aides, whether they're attorneys or whatever. They're secretaries, administrators, they're all called aides because
fine.
they aid him in his job.
I don't care.
And
fine, whatever. I don't care about that.
I think we know why the documents were in separate places. He kept probably the most incriminating documents
that's
at his home where he can see them.
Here's a Ukraine thing. This speaks to my son. Who knows? That's probably it, to be honest with you. Here's a Chinese thing. It speaks to my son a little bit. Let's just get that over and get this out of the way. Vic said something about 2 years ago. They go, boom, that's it. Don't go where the puck is, because Gretzky's going to skate right past your ass. Go where the puck is going to be. And that's what I think this show needs to start doing. And the word investigative reporting now.
We're going where the puck is.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah. Don't go where it is. Go where it's going to be. This guy is going down. Some deep state guy said, enough is enough. Get this guy out of here. Period. Discussion over. I'm telling you, they could have buried this. They could have had a nice dark SUV come in the middle of the night, take all the documents, muscle them right back. Nobody would have been the wiser.
Like they've done all these years.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
You know the people who work for Biden, aides, whether they're attorneys or secretaries or whoever else, the people highest and closest to Biden have known he's had these documents all along. They chose to find them. They chose to turn them in. Everything is by design.
Okay. You know what pisses me off about this? Do you remember when the national media and the orchestrators put on a 2-day live event for Mar-a-Lago as they looked for classified documents at Donald Trump? Do you remember that? Live TV coverage, helicopters, SWAT teams, guys with guns. It was a national TV event as they were on the search and looking for classified documents with Donald Trump. Where was the TV? Where was the SWAT team? Where were the helicopters when all of this was first going down, though? Think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
that's a bunch of crap.
Because stuff is too obvious.
It's national media at its finest. Once again, it's why nobody watches national media really that much anymore. At least the mainstream stuff, the local stuff.
Because law enforcement these days are two parts.
Biden stuff is coming out, but at the same point in time,
There's two parts to law enforcement.
There was no massive uncovering. Oh, we're at the Biden house. We're at the Biden garage. We're at the Penn Center. Where's all the coverage?
Well, you got to look at it like this. If you're a Republican, I have two things. I'm going to get you in the system to where you are being prosecuted. That will go behind closed doors and no one will ever hear about it. There's the second part of a Republican getting charged, and that is the pomp and circumstance of the lights and the news coverage and the political nature of the perp walk for a Republican. Democrats don't have that. When was the last Democrat you saw being perp walked? Did you see Hillary Clinton being let out by FBI agents with a server in her bathroom? You did not. Did you see that with Joe Biden? And you can see in the back of his garage the document sitting there behind his vet. You did not. So you're not going to see a perp walk with a bunch of Democrats. It's not going to happen. Now, it wouldn't have even happened if Merrick Garland wouldn't have gone out and charged Trump.
That's true.
If Trump wouldn't have, if Garland would have said, look, this is being handled, we're not doing any charges. Go, this documentation stuff is being taken care of. We're done with this. If he would have just left Trump alone, he wouldn't have had to do this to Biden. And I'm sorry to say that. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, I can't agree with you that completely, because the reason why I think the puppet master always had an exit plan for Biden. It was just a matter of time before this all came out. I don't know that Trump had anything to do with this. I think, and maybe he did, but I think this is all the powers that be. They always knew they had an exit plan for Biden. I actually thought it would be a long time ago.
I think the news story is right now. I think the
but
story.
They did cover it up.
I
in
think
the
the
press.
story is what Tabitha just said. I think the news story right now is this: somebody is behind the scenes. It could be AOC, it could be Omar, it could be a bunch of pissed off left wing
people.
AOC is not that smart.
It's folks way above those people. These are the shadow government that none of us really even know who they are.
Somebody in some think tank in downtown Washington, D.C., you promised he would be gone during this next election.
Exactly.
Well, what are you going to do about it? All right, we'll take care of it. Boom.
Here's what I think happened and why I find the timing interesting. They had to get Biden through midterms. These documents were found November 2nd, or it was leaked or whatever, however it came to the forefront, November 2nd. Which is why the press secretary was asked, even by a CBS reporter, which we showed you that exchange yesterday, why did you sit on this? Because the question is being asked, is this because you didn't want to mess with the midterms for Democrats? They hit it. They got what they wanted. They took some blows. It wasn't the Republican red wave that everybody wanted in the conservative ranks. So conservatives have their party, whatever, they get the house, and that's it. Now it's over, and then guess what? Now there's nothing till the next election. There's no need for Joe Biden anymore, is there?
No, he's cooked.
I mean,
he's been in the oven too long.
You have the presidency, now you have Congress, so you still have more power. Yeah, you don't have House, but now it's like, okay.
I just want everybody on this chat line to remember the day when you hear Gavin Newsom is running for president. I want you to remember Eric Johnson's the one that said it, because I think that's what this is all about. Kamala is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Pete Buttigieg, he's fried. The FAA has done him in.
But will it be? Because can it be a white guy?
Yes, it could be. It definitely could be Gavin Newsom, the second coming of JFK. Are you kidding me?
Well,
maybe Michelle Obama, but I
don't think it'll be her.
She's said on camera a million times she doesn't want it.
Too many skeletons.
Well, guys, here's something else that just came down on Fox.
He's got more than skeletons. Sorry.
That's another T-shirt you're gonna have.
Yeah.
I can already see the design on it. Next, my favorite congressman, Byron Donalds, who I've talked about before, from Florida, just apparently said nationally, Fox News picked it up, that Merrick Garland, he knew about all of this. He knew about everything that Joe Biden had, even before the Mar-a-Lago raid, and it's all going to be exposed. Let me tell you something. Representative Byron Donalds does not play around.
I know.
He is in your face, black and white, direct, one of the best young, up-and-coming conservative, I repeat, conservative congressman in the House.
Yeah.
He got all the attention last week when there was the vote going on with McCarthy. And he's like, I ain't afraid of anybody. He's like, I'm 6'2", 270. I didn't come to Washington to play around.
Yeah.
This guy controls the media. They don't control him. Just said that Merrick Garland knew about Biden's collection of classified documents, didn't do anything about it, went after Trump, keep with the scorecard, went after Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and then now this gets released. This is deep state stuff. This makes me think about the selected, not elected comments that we get from people.
Yeah.
No, what about you?
Wow. And he says that he's going to be exposed. Thank you, Mr. Donalds.
Well, and it has to happen. Now, the press conference that we played earlier on this show, I know it aired on C-SPAN. I know it aired on PBS. I had to work yesterday. Did it air anywhere else? Because I'll tell you what, Vic, you sent that clip through to the comment line. I had not seen it. At first, I didn't even believe it was real.
Which clip?
The one that we just played a few
Oh, yeah,
minutes
I
ago
verified
about
it.
the laptop.
Yeah, I verified
And so I
it.
went out and I looked and I found it. But was that played on mainstream media?
No.
Was it on Fox National?
No, I didn't see it on Fox
Was it
National.
on NBC, MSNBC, or any of these local
of course
other
not.
news stations?
Don't be silly. They're
Is this
talking
where you're
about
going to go after Fox News for not covering it if they didn't?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
on-
you would have, you know what? You would have some ground to stand on, in my
Because
opinion.
I
too.
at first thought it
I don't
wasn't
know if they
even
played it.
real. I thought it wasn't even real. And you sent that through, and at first I thought, wow, what a bombshell that is. And then I'm thinking, okay, I didn't hear about this anywhere. I looked it up in the news. The only headline I could find, and trust me, I am a good researcher when it comes to looking for news stories. It popped up one place, and that was PBS, and that was it.
Well, here's the other reason. Imagine this, guys. Just put. You see this? What if that was Trump?
It would be everywhere.
It
It
would-
was everywhere.
It would be worldwide news. Just put it that way. Seriously, even if we have Democrats listening, I know they chime in every now and then. Tell us we're wrong. We always want to have conversations. We're just trying to bring to the forefront all the information. We're not
Well,
wrong. If
you're-
that
you're-
was Trump, it would have been Mar-a-Lago times 10.
now you have quantifiable evidence of the liberal bias, because all I see on CNN and MSNBC before the Lisa Marie death yesterday was George Santos lying. I'm like, what a non-story. You guys are going to do 24-hour coverage of the George Santos lies. But you have all this other garbage going on over here, like classified documents and special counsels against Biden. And when they do bring up the Biden stuff, it's like, oh, this is a nothing burger. Really? Wow. Okay. It's unbelievable. If you really wanted, if there was like a thesis, if you're in journalism school right now and you wanted to do a thesis about the liberalism in the media, this is a gold mine of information. These guys in the media are hacks.
It's state ran media. And I'm not trying to completely down Fox National, because I know they at least do offer a little bit of an alternative to, CNN or MSNBC. But at the same time, and I'm going to go back and look and see if they played this press conference. I don't think they did. It was not on their website. I didn't see it anywhere.
They didn't.
I didn't
It's
see it
not.
anywhere. And I'm assuming they didn't.
They didn't.
And that goes to show what my point is that they're all paid hacks. I don't care if it's Fox National, MSNBC, CNN.
No, there was
They
wall-to-wall
do what the
coverage.
government tells them
It was
to do.
wall-to-wall coverage of the impeachment of Donald Trump. They had graphics built for it. They had TV shows. They had Hollywood producers. This is the same thing. This is the impeachment of this current president, because I'm telling you right now, one rabbit hole is going to lead to another rabbit hole. There's going to be some really interesting things coming out of Jim Jordan's committees. I guarantee it, that not just represent what happens with these documents, but how they tie them together somehow with his son, Hunter Biden. That's when you have a national security risk. That's
Bingo.
it.
Bingo.
When you
Eric.
can tie documents, not that the Chinese are walking into his garage. Who cares about that? But what are the documents that you have in there that are tied to the China Hunter Biden story? And how do you start to make sense of this computer? And how many people do you get on the stand to talk about Hunter Biden and how they're making? So you're telling me, Mr. Biden, that you guys made $2 million off of X? When you start to make those stories happen, there's no way this guy can run for president again. And that's the ultimate goal with whatever's going on behind the closed doors, which we don't know about. By the way, you can't even speculate about that stuff right now. You can just say, wow, this is very odd. And that's all you have right now.
This is an interesting question. I don't know why, but when a president passes, Does the widower still get that lifelong
Yes.
presidential
Yes.
pay?
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know why Jeannie wanted to know that. I find it fascinating. Man, this
And
is
they still have
interesting stuff.
Secret Service and all of the other detail as well.
We continue to get news on a daily basis. It doesn't. Free World's think tank?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Yeah.
There's not a Democrat alive who can defend that with any integrity and honesty in regards to Joe Biden accepting $54 million from Chinese donors, communist red China, who is coming after this country in more ways than probably 100.
Yeah.
How
in the world? I mean, if you wake up today, maybe not Joe Biden, he's probably too, he's out, his brain is gone, but his wife, if you're waking up in the White House this morning and you go, the system just turned on us, Joe. How creepy is that?
You know
Does
what?
that sound like a John Grisham
No,
novel?
because
Does
Eric,
that-
she probably knew.
Joe.
Jill probably knew.
Joe, wake up. What? The system just turned on us.
The system didn't turn on them. It was always by design. I can guarantee
How
you.
creepy is that? How does that make
Jill
your heart
probably
feel?
knows.
How does that make you feel that you know what happens in the deep state and you just woke up this morning going, we just been outed. The deep state is now against us. They want us out. Do you now go to dinner at maybe in Delaware this weekend and go, we got to get out of this race. We're done. We're cooked.
No, because
You don't?
I think
I
Jill.
would.
I think Jill always knew. Jill, I believe, was always part of the plan. Jill knew from day one. They came to her and said, "Hey, Jill, Joe's going to be the president. We're going to make sure this happens. We're going to cheat, lie, whatever we need to do to make sure he gets in this position. But it's only going to be until we get our agenda put through, and then he's going to have to go." I would almost bet you on my life that she is part of the entire plan.
Jill's a part of the plan.
I do think so. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know that for a fact. It's only my
I think
opinion.
Jill's place is simple. Keep him medicated and don't let him walk off the stage.
Exactly. She's his caretaker
That's
without
her
having to
place.
hire a nurse.
Please. She's not going into any high level meetings. It's like, here's his whatever. Make sure he gets this twice a day. All right. Have a nice day.
She's getting the money and whatever.
That's
is.
exactly it.
But as a Facebook user just said, the plot thickens. It does. And that's why we're trying to bring it to you. And I'm just glad that
again, go to where the puck is. That's the smartest thing you've ever said.
Oh, thank you. And I didn't say it. I was just repeating what Wayne Gretzky said. So it was Wayne Gretzky's brain. Wayne Gretzky said I wasn't the biggest, fastest, strongest skater. He's like, but when I was asked why things have worked out for me, he's like, while everybody else was chasing the puck, I went where the puck wasn't, and the puck would find me.
Right. Smart. It's very smart.
Very smart.
The great one with some great advice. I'm just glad we'll play. I mean, I know we're going to have people throughout the day joining us. I mean, when you're doing a 3-hour show, and we have massive following early this morning, which is great. We'll play that soundbite again later, actually press conference, because there are people that have no idea that even occurred. And it had nothing to do with classified documents, but it's more about Hunter Biden, the connections with Joe Biden. And Republicans now are showing evidence that Joe Biden lied when he said he never had any business dealings with his son or family members.
And how do you square that? Can you square that?
You can't. The only way you square it is by not talking about it.
Yeah.
And hoping it goes away. You try to brush it under the rug, but it's not going to happen.
Is there ever a day when the good ladies of The View can have that stupid look on their face?
Come on now.
Eric,
and go, oh my God.
That's state-run media.
Never.
Actually, that's state-run entertainment.
Yes.
Is what that is.
If they didn't say the things they say, they wouldn't have a show. They're just government shills.
I know, but is there a day
No.
when they go, okay, maybe this
Never.
Joe Biden stuff
That will never happen.
Never?
No.
Never happen.
Okay.
No, it won't. That'll never happen. And then in regards to that as well, we'll play that again. We'll run down what's happening. Who knows what's going to happen? Hell, now we're finding out that Representative Donalds is saying that Merrick Garland was sitting on information of classified documents of the current president having illegally when he was the vice president of the United States. You can't make that stuff up.
So true.
Hi, buddy. How are you? The only reason I bring you up, Scotty, is because you're on a 4-shot. That's and you know what? Your hair and beard looks good. You get
It
that?
does look
you
good.
get that?
I got it trimmed up.
I can
Yeah,
tell,
he's
man.
got a gig coming up. He's got a gig coming up, man. I know
Scotty
it is.
Gherkin, ladies and gentlemen, as we work on shots and things like that. But I don't know what else is going to happen today because it is a Friday. It's the Friday news dump.
Ooh, yeah.
I think something will happen. Something's going to pop up today.
I think you're right. I really do think you're right.
And other stories today, besides, we'll be talking about this for the next 2 hours. Also, Joe Rogan calling out George Soros. Gotta love that. We've been doing that for years. 171 sightings of UFOs on this Free for All Friday.
And a recent one, I
Is that
sent
the
you
in
out-
the last
we'll talk
2
about that,
years
but a recent one
that the government says we have no idea. The other ones, the other, I don't know, 150 or so, they have reasons for, or at least balloons, weather situations, blah, blah, blah. But 171, like, yeah, we don't know. Sorry.
I love it. Project Blue Book, all that money
Being-
wasted.
being honest.
You would think they knew something. Like they had a guy named Pete that's in a hangar somewhere that's green and looks like a reptilian. You would think that that story would come out, but no,
They're there somewhere.
it doesn't.
And look what just happened in Russia. Remember when
Oh, yeah.
some people claim they shot down a UFO? It was a spherical drone. And when they shot it down, it was this huge explosion. Even though now the story's completely buried. No one's talking about it. Everyone's saying it's a drone, even though no one knows of a spherical drone. Guess what? For I think 2 or 3 days after that happened, they completely shut down their airspace. Now, why would they do that?
Because they didn't know what the drone was.
I think that's exactly right.
So we'll get into that. Plus, something I'd like to do when we come back, depending on how you guys feel. There is now a strong push. We've heard about this for about a year, but now a massive, strong push from Democrats, while they have some power, to allow 16-year-olds to vote. I'll be curious to know what 16-year-olds should be voting. I have a 15-year-old.
That should never be allowed.
And don't laugh about this, people. It's legitimate, and they are trying hard.
That's the indoctrination camps.
Yeah,
that
and
are
they're also trying to
hard.
get rid of gas-powered stoves. So,
Well, AOC says, don't worry, no boogeyman's coming for your gas-powered stove.
yeah, they are.
That's
Don't
what
let it.
she's saying.
Don't even let the cancerous tumor get started.
Well,
If-
it's a law.
Look at
in
what
California.
they did with. Wait a minute. Hold on.
There's
already a
so
law.
much to get into.
Hold on, AOC. Look what they've done with green energy already. Because of her little dumbass mouth, we have no XL pipeline anymore.
We're
Period.
We're going to take a quick break. It's cancelthisshow.com. Share the show, please. If you can, donate. Be a part of what we're doing. Help us continue what we're doing. Cancelthisshow.com. There's a donate button on the top right portion of the page. A lot of people listening this morning, early, often. We got the topics. We're going to continue to bring it. If we're missing something, let us know. We'll get it out there for everybody to hear all across the country. Scott Gherkin, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. It's Friday. It's January 13th. It is Friday the 13th. We got a lot to get to. You're listening and watching to Cancel This.
Funniest thing I've heard all day.
Hey, welcome back to the show. At some point in time, we're going to ask you to pay $2.99 a month for behind the scenes content.
It would be well worth it.
Maybe we should charge $9.99 per month for behind the scenes content.
It would be well worth it.
I can't take it.
I'm sorry. You should never.
People would pay $100 a month to have the
cannot take
behind the scenes content.
Okay.
Yeah, broadcasting 101. Never say things that people have no idea what you're talking about. But at the same point in time, this is podcasting. So we tease you. You'll want the behind the scenes content.
Oh, yes, you will.
I just shake my head.
That's so funny. I'm sorry.
Welcome into Cancel This, everybody. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel and Eric Johnson. Scott Gherkin. I just shake my head. I'm like, oh my God.
If you can't laugh at yourself, you don't try laughing at anybody else. That's the way I look at it.
Joe Patterson suggested the fans only page.
Oh my, if you only knew how close you were. If you only knew how close you were, Joe.
It's a free for all Friday, Paranormal Friday, an end to Joe Biden Friday. Whatever you want to make it today, you
Scotty
throw
just
it
made me
in.
laugh. Scotty.
No, I
Just
think out of the four of us, I think the person that'd be most excited about a fans only page would be Scott Kirkin. You're all tatted up. You got tattoos all over yourself.
Oh,
You can show off
man.
your tats.
Yeah,
You got your hair.
OnlyFans, come look at my belly.
But it's a nice belly.
Oh God.
You got your hair all done up. You got your beard
Oh,
all
jeez.
groomed.
Yeah, I told you yesterday I was going to cut some of that off, and I cut like an inch and a half off the beard. So
Nice.
I
It
feel
looks
naked.
so nice.
We need to hook your camera back up at some point so
Yeah, we
people
do.
can see.
No, I don't want it too close.
It's not.
My God, dude. Come on. We got 2 hours to go.
Hey,
I'm not a camera guy either. I don't like being on
Dude, I'm
camera either.
totally not a camera guy. Totally not. Radio rocked because of that. Loved
Friday,
radio.
free
Loved it.
for all. First hour. I mean, the Joe Biden stuff took us all the way through the hour. You can continue with that if you want. We just wanted to make sure we jumped into some other topics. And this one, first of all, the Biden stuff pisses me off. How, yes, we got the coverage, but pissed off because the Hunter Biden interview that we showed you, we'll show it again, not an interview with him, but one associating, oh, yeah, Mr. Joe Biden and Hunter Biden,
Yeah.
that we have information on. Republicans in the House bringing that information forward. We were showing you that. Secondly, the big story that I think is out there now, and it just goes to show what are Democrats doing. We want to have good conversations. We're not trying to rip anybody. Who in their right effing mind thinks a 16-year-old should vote? We have legitimately hit that point. It's not just something that's, quote, being talked about. We now have it where it has happened, where age 16, Democrat Representative Grace Ming has now introduced a resolution to allow 16-year-olds to vote.
Mm-mm.
And I think it's going to pick up a lot of steam.
No.
You don't think it's going to pick up steam?
No, I'm just that's my brain thinking as you're talking. I can't believe this is even a thing.
They're trying to amend the Constitution to allow 16-year-olds to vote. Number one, why? Number two, will it have success? What is behind this?
You know what's behind it. This could be the shortest segment we ever do.
Really?
16-year-olds.
I don't even know if 18-year-olds should vote, but at the same point in time,
Yes, 18-year-olds. If you're old enough to serve in the military, you're old enough to vote.
that's the only thing. But I think 18-year-olds now compared to 18-year-olds 40
Very
years
different.
ago
Very different.
are very, very different.
I agree.
18-year-olds 40 years ago, 50 years ago, cared more about politics than they do now. They just do. And that's a general statement, but they did.
Man, that's like giving a 16-year-old a vote to what happens in the household. Hey, kids, gather around. We're voting if we should either A, use the family credit card to get a Ferrari, to get a host of new PS5s, or to pay bills this month so we can stay in the house. What kid is not going to want to vote for the PS5s? I don't think kids'
I like your analogy, Eric.
kids' brains they're not developed enough yet to participate in a society that is trying to do a lot of mature things. I'm sorry, they're just not. They're not. And I know, and this is, again, I say this is the shortest segment that this show has ever done, Tabitha.
I don't know. I might lengthen it a little bit.
If you want to, that's
No,
fine.
I'm just kidding.
The reason they're doing it, drum roll, they want the liberal demographic to vote for them. It's all about power. There are no 16-year-old Republican kids going to the polling stations. I'm sorry, they're just not.
There are probably a few, but I think we can all agree, by and large, the reason why they went to introduce this is because these colleges, these liberal colleges, are just spewing out. They're a factory for Democrat votes.
And we have so many people chiming in, Eric, which is why it's not just a quick little topic.
It could be if you wanted it to be.
It could be. Mary, they're too busy on TikTok or texting, and they are. There is absolutely no doubt. Things have changed in the last 40, 50 years. 18-year-olds now could give a damn about it. They do. As a whole, there are individuals that are different. Most of the ones I know are homeschooled that actually care. But what I love, what I just read, yeah, you pass the civics test, then you can vote.
Oh, there you go.
What a fantastic idea, because most Americans would probably not pass it. I'll never forget. I felt guilty. I was at an event, a naturalization process where people became citizens.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you call the naturalization
You got it.
process?
That's
Yes.
it.
And they were talking about the questions. And then I saw one of the tests that they looked at and that they had to pass. I was like, oh my God, these people know more than I do. I felt guilty. I really did. because most Americans, I don't think, could pass. I say most, over 50%. If you were given a civics test today, I'm not sure you would pass it. Well, give them a civics test, then they could do it. 50 years ago today, yeah, much different. 50-year-olds then were patriotic. They are not now. Also, as soon as the handlers, push Biden out and install Kamala Harris, as the president, they'll change the voting laws, which could be sooner than we think.
And again, everything they do is on the presumption of something that has merit. But in the like, let's go back to AOC. She wants to get rid of gas stoves, not because there might be a carcinogen, or if you got asthma, it might affect your lungs, or that environmentalists are crazy. Like, oh, gas stoves are the worst thing to happen to the human species since any time in history. The reason is they want gas gone. And how can you get rid of all the gas if all of these houses across the United States have gas stoves, Vic? You can't just shut down gas.
You can.
So the lie.
That's what they're doing in California.
So this just goes back to their playbook. Lie about something that might have some merit. Let's say that every gas stove, every house that has.
Oh, you're using the gas stove analogy with the voting.
Yeah, I mean, it all connects. Everything connects
because it connects. I was trying to.
Everything connects. The gas stove thing. They say it's because of your health. No, it's not because of that. It's because they want gas gone. These kids voting, oh, it's because they're humans too, and they have a right to vote. No, it's not. It's because you're trying to control the voting system. The border is the same way. Look at these people. They're just coming over here for a better life. No, that's not true. You're trying to make red states blue. So everything they do starts off with a level of wholesomeness, but it really devolves into a plan, which is the fabric of what they're trying to do. And it's crazy.
Makes sense to me. Well, also, this is good, Eric. Somebody from the text line agreeing with you, saying that 25 seems to be like the great age, 25 years old, where the brain is fully developed.
Yeah.
Now, other people say, well, if you let a 16-year-old drive around 1,000-pound or a couple 1,000-pound vehicle, shouldn't they be allowed to
That's
vote?
a motor skill thing. That's not it.
I think that's more of a motor skill thing than an idea of what politics are all about.
That's training a monkey how to drive around in a car is not that hard. But what's hard is for deductive reasoning, is for a human being to say, yeah, I would really like to have free money for everybody on the planet. But if we do that, we're going to bankrupt the country. Okay, I think I'll vote Republican. That's the hard part of being a youth. And because you're also so influenced by the weirdest stuff. You're influenced by pop culture.
You're influenced by your friends.
Yeah, your friends.
If you want to stay in a friend group sometimes.
Exactly.
My daughter went through that. I already brought that up on the show in the past. If you want to stay in this friend group, you're going to be a liberal.
Yeah.
And if you're not a liberal, you cannot stay in this friend group.
Yeah. And it's going to, and like we talked about earlier, Joe Rogan finally comes to the damn party about George Soros. You guys better start coming to the party quick.
Better late than never, huh?
Better late than never.
I mean, better late than never. I mean, I'm sure he's had it, and of course had the information. He's just never been that public. Not as public as we've been when we had the radio station, and as public as we've been on this podcast.
Unfortunately, everything that's of a common sense nature, it seems to me like has to go through Bill Maher or Joe Rogan. Is that the way it seems to you?
No, they just have the media. Why not us?
Why not us? Because
believe it or not, as good and as popular as Joe Rogan is, and as we respect him, if you look at his body of work and what we've done for 3 years, we're ahead of the game, Eric.
No doubt.
On more topics. We just don't have the national push yet. We will get there, but it doesn't necessarily have to go through those two.
It's no doubt, but there's a big difference between 100 million people listening to a Joe Rogan and 100,000 people listening to us. And when I say that, it's like if Joe Rogan came out with the whole show that was on Spotify today about the dangers of George Soros, and it was confirmed on real time with Bill Maher. Now Soros has a problem. But if we say it, okay, look at these hacks out of St. Louis talking about me, whatever.
Real quick before we got off the subject, do you think 16 will be voted in?
No, I don't.
I think there's more of a chance of it happening than not. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was some way where voting became something you could do on social media, if there was some sort of platform, some sort of voting app, something along those. I feel it's on its track. I really do. More chances of it happening or not?
Not a chance.
Okay.
No, because
guys
I don't
make me
know
It's
how
not
it
the
make
first
it. I
time they've
don't
tried to do this.
I don't know how it would even make it through.
It won't.
If you have the
it
power,
won't, it
if you have the
won't.
power in Congress, you pass it through.
It's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
Yeah, but you don't have the House anymore. So, and the House of Representatives seems a little bit more focused on other things.
All
I
right.
just don't think they would vote it through.
All right, let's go on to our next topic. You brought it up. Gas stoves. Are you kidding me? Whoever thought we'd be arguing about gas stoves?
Me. I started talking about it 2 years
I
ago.
did. I think Tabitha did. I
Tabitha-
think you did
I
actually.
know I did.
But why? Tabitha, jump in.
The
please.
reason why is because in a prior radio life, in between seeing you guys the last time, one of my sponsors was a heating and cooling company, Chesterfield Service. And I talk to those guys all the time. I'm like, are you prepared? Because sooner or later, we're going to outlaw gas appliances, not just gas stoves, gas appliances. And in the state of California, this has already happened. It happened a couple years ago. They already said all new construction in the state of California does not even have a gas line. There are no gas lines that come into the new homes in the state of California. And there's no gas appliances. And if anybody attempts to put a gas line into a new home, they are fined heavily. It's already happening in this country. This is not new. It just happened to be picked up by the mainstream media recently. But none of this is new. I've been talking about it for 2 years. It was bound to happen. I'm just glad that finally somebody picked it up and started talking about it besides me.
Yeah. And it was AOC's little group of green goblins over there trying to figure out how to rule the world and take gasoline out of everything. That's all this is about.
It's about control.
It's about control.
It's about control. Because guess what? If everybody is running on electric, they're going to do just what they're doing in China. And they're going to say, okay, you don't want to listen. You want to misbehave. Well, guess what we'll do? We'll turn your power off.
Robert says gas furnaces. Robert actually said ban all fossil fuels. All electric equals stupid.
Yes.
And
yes,
how do you,
does.
and let's say you are completely plugged in more than hundreds of millions of houses across the country. You're completely dialed into gas power, right? Gas stoves, gas water heaters, gas, this, that, and the other.
Not anymore.
Who the hell retro funds this thing so that you're not a gas house anymore?
Eric,
Who the hell
You
comes
do.
in? And, you do?
You do.
No.
all of these new apartments being built right here in St. Charles County, as an example, they're all electric. There are no gas lines going into these apartment buildings. Every time you see these new apartment buildings pop up, guess what? No gas, all electric. It's happening even right here in the state of Missouri.
Our grid can't handle it.
It's not as far.
can't
No,
handle
it can't. And you know what? I think that was before we started this show when I talked about this. Our power grid right here in the Midwest is more stressed than any power grid across the country. Because, well, part of that was because we had a bad storm a couple years ago that took out one of the main cables. Our power grid here is very stressed. We cannot handle all of this electric. We are already facing rolling blackouts here in the Midwest. They warned us of that this past year, and thank God it didn't happen. We're in big trouble. And if they keep this push for electric, it's just going to get worse. But they want to control you. You know how Ameren not long ago, maybe 2 years ago, they sent out all of those free smart thermostats to people. If you live, especially if you live in the city of St. Louis, they say, hey, you want a smart thermostat? We'll send it out to you for free. And they did. They sent them out for free. You know why? Because when you use too much power, they can change it. They can go, okay, gee, Vic, you have your thermostat set at 75. I think 67's more along the lines.
No, that's already happening.
It is already happening. It's happening in other states. It hasn't happened here yet.
No.
But when it happens there, it's going to happen
But
here.
my question to Vic is this.
Yeah,
Okay, you're a 16-year-old. You're a 16-year-old. You get to vote now. Now go vote on the government controlling your thermostat. Go vote on not being able to drive a gas-powered car anymore.
Great point.
And how in the hell does a 16-year-old even afford a $60,000 Tesla or any car of that nature? How do you do it? I don't understand how they think they're
16-year-olds don't even know what cash is, Eric.
They don't.
If
They don't.
If a 16-year-old went into a store to pay and power was out, they would know what to do if you didn't have to swipe a card. Or, can you take the card? Do you have cash?
That's already happening because I use cash. I try to use cash
They'd be
everywhere
like,
I go.
is there an app for that.
They don't know how to give you your change back.
So no, they could not have the idea. They don't know how to give you change.
No, I'm not, Vic. I'm not kidding. This has happened to
Oh
me
my
3
Say it again.
times.
Say it
3
again.
times
Oh,
this month.
Say it again. What did you just say?
3 times this month. I have had young people waiting on me, and I always use cash because cash is
Okay.
king. And they don't know how to count the change back. If the computer's not telling them how much change to give you, they have no idea. They have no idea.
This is parents' fault and it's a school's fault.
Yes.
But when it comes to these massive issues, these aren't, I mean, yeah, there's always been issues throughout history, but nothing like the amount of issues that are thrown at kids. And maybe kids are just turning it off because now we're freaking talking about gas being taken away from us.
Yeah.
And if that ever happened, I'd have a massive issue. I have gas
Mhm.
that's run right into my barbecue pit. So I use gas. I don't have to worry about the going and filling it up or anything. I just turn it on and gas is there. And it is awesome. I cook on a grill almost every day. I could not imagine losing gas.
Yeah.
And what about chefs? I mean, the best way to cook is with gas. If you really like to cook, you do not want to cook on an electric stove.
You know, but I was thinking about this the other day, and I was thinking, all right, what they're doing has nothing to do with us. These guys are looking 30 years down the road, right? They're looking at 16-year-olds, and they're thinking, we're going to put this in their mind. 16-year-olds this will become just part of the overall ethos of what happens. There's no gas cars anymore. They're already ready for that.
Yeah.
There's no gas houses anymore. They're already ready for that. There's no I mean, all this stuff that we're going, you can't take out of our cold dead hands will you take our gas powered stoves. 16, 18, 20-year-olds are already like, oh, I don't see what the problem is really. So they're not even worried about us right now. My whole thing is this. I wouldn't care not to drive a damn gas car if you gave me an electric car that I knew I could get from St. Louis to Kansas City and without having to charge, it be at a charging station for 50 minutes to charge my damn car. I would be okay with it, but they don't come up with any legitimate plan on how to fly an electric airplane overseas. They don't have any legitimate plan on how they're going to keep rolling brownouts out of our area. If I saw a plan, if Tashara Jones and Paige came out today with a plan of what an all-electric system looked like, and it was kick-ass and it was affordable, I'd be all in. The problem is they don't give us that ability to see into their little future.
Tammy from the comment line, gas or electric, it's all up to you. It's what you're used to using.
That's right.
She says, I'm electric all the way.
And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you choose, there's absolutely
Exactly
nothing wrong with that.
You know what?
But you should have the option.
How about incandescent or LED?
Oh, let's not even get
Incandescent or
started on
LED?
that.
Of course, Tabitha has a comment on
Not
it.
Because
even get started on that.
Incandescent bulbs were fantastic for females. LED light bulbs make females look wrinkled. That makes their skin look bad.
I am
It's
completely
the worst light bulb ever invented.
I am completely out of the old light bulbs. Remember when they outlawed the old light bulbs? I went and bought every single one I could find.
Yeah.
And I'm out of them.
Women
and I'm
hate
furious.
them. Women hate them. They cannot figure out why they look in the mirror and go, this is not how it used to be.
Natural
I'm serious. It's not even-
sunlight is the best light.
It's fine.
And the second best light is those old light bulbs.
It's kind of like,
and you can't find them anymore.
it's like the gas versus electric stove debate. Gas is just better for cooking. It is. I'm sorry. Gas is just really cool to have a gas fireplace in your house.
I love it.
It's just
I do.
really cool.
I'm a gas guy with that. I get it. You're right.
Electric heat sucks.
Well, if you like to cook like I do, you need a gas. What you really ideally want is gas burners and an electric oven. And that's why they make those chef's oven that are the combination of both.
Oh my God, it's so interesting. Leave it to you, Robert. And that's why this show has been so great because of you guys. Maybe I'll try to get Alex on today to talk about the hundreds of thousands of views and impressions we're getting on the show. And it's all because of you guys jumping in and making the show and helping educate everybody else. How about this? Robert says LED can be programmed to change your moods and communicate with your smart devices.
That makes sense.
I was waiting for an Eric to go, what?
no, you can. Those LED light bulbs suck. They suck on stage. I mean, but Scotty, you remember the old Par 64s, the old incandescent Par 64s?
Yeah.
It made rock stars look like rock stars. Now they look like they're at a disco.
Well, it's fake. It's just fake.
I can't stand LED lighting. I hate it.
I hate LED lighting myself, as you guys all know.
Dark Helmet says, not all LEDs do that now. I have LEDs that look just like incandescent lights and put out the same type of light
Come up here, Derek.
I'll stick to the electric.
no,
stove.
that's dark
all you
helmet.
got
I
to do
thought
is
it was
go get
Derek.
yourself a good old GE bulb from 1980
People buy them. Jeannie says she's still buying them.
and stick them in
Jeannie and I
your
are gonna talk.
lamps. You will feel so much better with incandescent lighting. You might as well put fluorescent lighting in your living room. I'm serious. It's horrible.
Wow, I got to get this. My boyfriend, who's a superintendent for a construction company, this is Tracy speaking, just told me when they started making light bulbs, they were meant to last forever. Forever. Then they figured out, that it wasn't a moneymaker. So you know what? We're going to change that so that people would have to continue to buy them.
Yeah.
Robert says Li-Fi instead of Wi-Fi.
We should put a webpage together.
There you go.
Some great
I was
ideas.
looking at you
I'm serious.
there.
I would read that webpage all day long.
There really is. Same upstairs is usually the way too hot even now, replying to how they're getting their electric in the house.
Yeah, electric heat is really bad. It feels bad. It makes your air really dry. It does. There's just something really cool about gas heated houses. I'm serious. It's just.
I have my house right now. I have gas heat. Now I have an electric stove, which drives me nuts, but I do have gas heats.
Yeah.
So is this
You would prefer a gas stove?
Yes.
I think they're harder to cook on.
Gas
harder-
stoves are?
Harder to control the heat for
But-
me.
Well, when you're cooking on the stove top, it's easier to control the heat with a gas stove versus electric. But now the oven, though, you want your
backwards
oven
then.
to be electric
Mm.
because it's a more even
You
temperature
don't
in
want
the
that
oven.
gas. Boom! Right. The turkey's dead.
Blew it right out the chimney.
and it doesn't take that long to do it. So this whole AOC deal, what do you guys make of it?
I think she's a boob. And she's, I just think she's a complete moron. It just goes
the
back
headline stealer.
It goes back to me thinking to myself, we have 350 million people in this country, and that's who we vote for. Oh my Lord.
No, that's just it. Nobody voted for her. And that's the media manipulation. They want you to think that that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody's into. But it's the opposite of that. That's media manipulation. That's
Dude,
why
this is
the
no
government
different.
pays the media all that money.
She is no different than Kim Kardashian putting up a tennis shoe that she loves to wear. You're going to have multiple millions of little girls buying Kim Kardashian tennis shoes because she's a trendsetter. She is a influencer. AOC's an influencer. That's all she is. That's her job. I guarantee you someone took her back behind the scenes and said, AOC, we'd like to welcome you. Here's your pin. You are the green voice of Congress. And they all clapped and go, AOC, all you got to do is influence people to be more green. That's your whole job.
But and I'm glad you said
your
the word
job is not
more
to go on
green.
committees and talk about China. Your job is not to go and talk about the border. Your job, AOC, is to be very focused. And here's your pin, so put it on. You're the green girl.
But it's about
Yay.
this is all about something larger. I mean, the deal with the gas appliances, and it's not just gas stoves. It's gas lines, gas
Yes.
appliances in general.
Yes.
Because you can't have gas dryers either.
Yes.
They're trying to get rid of all gas appliances, including furnaces, etc. But it's part of a bigger picture because the whole green energy deal, it's all about, think about this. They want to get rid of your farms. They don't want you to own private land. They want to get rid of farmers. They want to have to grow vegetables in a lab. They want to grow meat in a lab. And we've talked about that before.
I think you went way too complicated.
No, because it's all part of one whole. It's a big picture.
Oh, you're right.
Eric.
I mean,
We're taking it
right.
down.
You're the green girl.
You're right, Tab. You're right. But unfortunately, you're right for the wrong reasons. Here's the deal. China makes these things called solar panels. And they make a
Bingo.
lot of them. China makes these things called electric stoves. They make a lot of them.
Yes.
China is the new world order is about having this one world economy, and
Yes.
gas stoves don't fit into that one world
you're
economy.
Right. And nor do
and
farms.
the
nor
moron
does farming, nor does livestock.
and the moron who is AOC is the face of that little campaign right now.
Why do you think they're raising the price of eggs? You think you think something's
By the way,
different
where's
this
our
year
Are you going to get us a
than 3
farmer?
years ago?
Yeah, we need
I'm
a farmer.
trying.
We need a
I'm
farmer.
Why
trying.
won't the farmers talk to us?
I think that I would like to know that myself. I think because we talk about a lot of real issues that sometimes farmers are more political than we might give them credit for. And it's hard. It's not.
Only call up
it's not-
the Gov. He's a farmer.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's see what the Gov has to say. But you're right, Tab.
Egg prices right now, you know why? Because they don't want you to buy eggs. I'd rather you buy fake egg products. They don't want you to buy chicken. They don't want you to buy meat. They want you to buy cellular
Why
meat when
do
it
you
comes out.
think-
They want you to buy plant-based
What do you
meat.
think if
And-
Biden, if there's a if they find a document and then they reference that document with the laptop? What if we find out that Biden has access to some industry from China that involves selling cobalt or silver?
They already told us it did. He's involved with cobalt.
Then there's a national security
We're going to
problem.
run that. Yeah, we'll run that at the top
Then
of the
there's a
9 again.
national security
Stick around
problem.
at the top of the 9 hour. We'll run that press conference from yesterday that Republicans from brought out in regards to all the information that's coming out with Biden and Hunter and connecting it. It's an avalanche coming down on the president right now.
Yeah.
By the way, I found this interesting. Joe Patterson, thank you. If true, he says there's a light bulb that's been on burning since 1991 in California.
That's true.
Where's
That is
that
true.
located?
I don't know. But
I wonder
I've
if
heard
it's
about
because
it.
it's been calcified somehow, because that's crazy.
No, because they were originally meant to last forever.
I didn't know that. Why don't
Natural
they?
gas is a utility and such is protected by law. It cannot be denied to you if there is no other option. This is coming from Jay. It's called provider of last resort. This is why you see miles and miles of phone and electric in the middle of nowhere.
The problem is in most areas these days, you have the option of gas or electric, and soon you're going to have only the option of electric.
I think that
There's very few areas that
think,
don't have options
again,
of electric
I
right
go
now.
back to the people who are deep state. If they're the deep staters, the people who
I
are in
love
the
this
know,
show.
the people who are in the know. I really believe if they could come out with a presentation with a smile on their face, and it was today on channel 2, 4, and 5, and it was the grand plan of the green agenda, and you had George Soros sitting up there on a stage, and Obama came out and said, "This is what we've been working on, and we're telling you what we want this world to become." There would be 55% of the Americans would go, "I subscribe to that," and then they could do all of this out in the open. I think that people get really sick of is that we're trying again to play the game Clue. We're trying to find out what is in the damn manila envelope, who did it in what room with what device. That's what we keep trying to talk about. I honestly think this, Vic, we're at a time in this world's history where if they just came out and gave us the master plan, we would all go.
They being the handlers,
Yeah,
the
George Soroses, the
New
WHO,
World Order,
the WHO,
the globalists, the
global,
elitists.
yes, the Illuminati finally came out and said, I'm Jack from the Illuminati. I'm the guy that you always see on TikTok. Yeah, I'm not that scary. Everybody sit down. Come on, I'm the Illuminati.
Yeah,
Here-
except that'll never
yeah,
happen.
I know. Here's all the lawyers of the world.
Dark Helmet says actually the oldest working light, he believes, it's in Boston, and it's been on for over 100 years.
That's
I mean,
amazing, isn't it?
And of course, you'll never see or hear these stories on
No.
mainstream media.
No.
Because there's a plan. Doyling says, or propane.
It's the same thing. Propane and gas are the same thing.
Jay Saunders says, new Republican motto, make natural gas great again.
And look at the prices of propane. They don't want you to use propane either.
Yep.
The prices of
high as sky.
propane are insane right now.
I know.
Everything they don't want you to use, guess what they do? They make it so expensive that you can't afford it, and they make the option you want to use very inexpensive.
Yet where blue collar workers are just, they're frogs in a slow boil.
Oh, the Centennial Light has been on since 1901. According to Jeff Nichols, I'm assuming that is the Boston light. And Eric Glenn says you're not allowed to comment on anything green until you watch 2000 Mules, because we don't think you've had your watch party yet with 2000 Mules. Right?
Do I have to watch that to have an opinion about?
To have a valid opinion, yes.
Did you see the way she just looked at me? Damn.
Oh, she'll look at you like that.
You can't comment on election fraud or so many other things if you've not done your due diligence to see the proof.
You got really serious, Tabitha. I was joking about he did say
well, and I like to tease Eric. I'm really
that
just
look.
teasing.
I know
Yeah, you
that look you gave looked like the look you gave me this morning too.
I think that's my permanent look, by the way.
She's like, oh my God, it's all over the place. So the gas stove situation's there. We're going to continue to follow it. Who knows what the hell's happening?
It's a trial balloon for right now. It is a trial balloon. And
It's already implemented in California. I think 8 other states are also implementing all new construction cannot have a gas line, all electric only. It's coming here. We're not going to be able to stop it. I don't know what we're going to do.
When
We have to leave it
Nationally?
up to. We have to
but
leave
that would
it
have to
up.
be a national. That would have to be a national law.
No. But state by state, that's why we have to make sure our state stays red. We have to continue in our local elections to make sure we elect the right people so that that does not happen here in the great
Because
state of
there's
Missouri.
no way a Democrat, even in a Midwestern state, would ever allow things to stay
It's
the same.
already happening. It's already happening. All these new apartment buildings you see coming up, they're all electric, no gas. It's
You
already
might be
happening.
right. It might be cheaper though. But so who do we call to find this out? Maybe it's not the governor. Maybe we have to call a representative from Ameren to find out what's going on. What is the deal with the gas lines? Can we run
Do you
gas
think
lines?
Ameren cares? They have gas.
Think that no, I know Ameren cares. I know
Why
Ameren.
does Ameren care? They supply gas. They supply
Yeah,
natural
but
gas
your
too.
question is it true that new builds are primarily electric? And what's the deal with gas? Is it decreased? I mean, again, investigative reporting. That's what the good. That's why there are good investigative reporters like Elliot Davis, and there's bad investigative reporters like anybody on KMOX these days. You see what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm talking about. If we really wanted to know the answers, they are out there, but we're just kind of.
You know who you want to talk to is a home builder, because home builders, they're the ones
There
getting
you go.
the,
There you
they're
go.
at the top of the line.
Bingo.
What are you building?
Yes.
Is anyone telling you
I-
that you need to build homes
Tabitha
with
will have
electric
let's
and
have a
not
home builder on
glass?
Monday.
Well, when I was, well, heck, we get home builder on today. From my text line, when I lived in Pennsylvania, nobody had gas. Everyone had to have a propane tank. I don't know how long ago that was, but things have changed just in the last 5 years.
Yeah. There's a lot of in the Northeast, especially, and in Seattle for that matter, there are natural gas houses where they come and actually fill up your house like it's a car. They'll drag the hose to the backyard. They'll fill up your tank, and boom, that's what it's it's oil based house, and basically that's what you live on for the whole winter. And in the summer, you kind of decrease that. So yeah, there's all kinds of things they're trying to get rid of. I think AOC gets it that cars are going to eventually be phased out, but she also understands you're not going to hey, look, we did it. Everybody's got a Tesla or a Volt or whatever it is, but now you have all these houses and office buildings that are still being powered by gasoline, so you still have a fuel industry.
But like Vic said, we can't maintain all of this electric. We cannot maintain all electric vehicles. Look at this big snowstorm in New York City where so many people died because they got stranded in the snow. Could you imagine if we had all electric vehicles? How many would be stranded?
I think there's this thing. I went to the doctor one time, and as a kid, you have no pains, right? As you get older, you start to get pains. And the one thing that my doctor said that I'll never forget is I said, my shoulder's killing me, and I don't even really know why. And he goes, well, it's been injured in football. And he goes, it's your new normal. And I went, my new what? You mean I'm at the doctor's office? You're supposed to be able to fix this. My new normal? You just got to live with it. You'll be fine. Take some leave and then call me in the morning. And I think that's what their end game is. This is the new normal. If there's rolling brownouts in St. Peter's and St. Charles or St. Louis, it's your new normal. And you become used to it. If you're 54 years old or 60 years old, you're not used to a rolling brownout in St. Louis, Missouri.
Well,
but if you're 16, if you're 16 years old and you don't see this all the time, you're kind of used to a rolling blade. So keep an eye out for what these people are doing. They are becoming the new normal.
But it's not here in Missouri. T.R. Hughes, a huge home builder in this area. Well, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, I talked to Jason Hughes from T.R. Hughes. And we talked about this whole situation with gas appliances because I explained to him, hey, in California, this is what they're doing. And, parts of the East, this is what they're doing. And he said that is not happening in the state of Missouri as far as home building. He's building homes with gas lines. And he didn't even, I don't even, if I can recall correctly, I don't even think he knew about these laws in other states.
Yeah.
So it's not happening here in Missouri. I don't think in a large scale amongst home builders.
I just wish that AOC wouldn't lie to us. You don't want the gas in the house because you want to get rid of the fuel industry. So don't tell us this because of asthma. Period. Discussion over.
Enough said.
Yeah.
Well said. Hey, by the way, did you realize that where did it go? Oh shoot, I didn't have it. Sorry, I didn't mean to take that out. I couldn't find it. I was looking at something else that was going on with our streamline from what we were going to use there. It is Friday. This is cancelthisshow.com. Cancelthisshow.com. Jump in, share the show, subscribe on all of the platforms that you possibly can. If you have stories, let us know. If you have information, connect with us. If you want us to video link you into the show, let us know. We'll send you the video link as well. You can also jump in regarding donations to the show to help keep us going, to see what we're doing. Cancelthisshow.com. On the homepage, you can find the donate button, and you can jump in and donate for us and donate to what we're doing as well. And we also want to say thanks again to Mark Schmitz. People wanted us to thank him. He joined us yesterday to talk about Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz, who died in Afghanistan when the bomb blew up at the airport. People wanted us to publicly thank him for spending some time and to promote the pub crawl Freedom 13 that's coming up as well. Also, other headlines, things making news today. We've been talking about it. Were you done talking about the Joe Rogan deal, by the way?
No, I thought it was fascinating that he is finally bringing up George Soros. You finally learned who George Soros was. You're confused why there's crime in LA, St. Louis, Philadelphia. Really? Seriously? I mean, come on, Joe, get with it. Yeah, I think that it's I keep looking at Soros and thinking this guy is an animatronic puppet. He's so old looking to me. And that's like I don't want to say, would the world be better off without this cat?
It wouldn't matter if when he passes away, his son will step up in his place.
I don't know.
There will always be a George Soros and he's not the only one. There are many George Soroses out there. He's just one guy.
I don't think the Koch brothers care that people think that they're evil. They still have a lot of money and they still contribute to the causes that they think are important.
They're still involved heavily?
I don't know.
I didn't know if they were.
You haven't heard Nancy Pelosi bring them up in a few years, that's for sure.
But
that was the big thing is money that corrupts the political system. And they even went to the Supreme Court about having money get out of politics. I'm sure they're glad they didn't follow through with that, because now you have
will never be money out of politics. That never.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever, ever.
Yeah. Is George Soros an American citizen?
I don't know.
I think that's a pertinent
I would
question.
assume that he is.
I mean, if he's from Rome, if he's over
But
in
I don't
Romania
know.
living in Dracula's house,
I mean, I
or
don't
something
think
like
he
that, then
spends that much time in the U.S. So I don't know.
I don't know either. I should know this. Investigative journalism. See,
I
I'm not
wanted
an.
to cast your
I don't know
vote.
myself.
I want to give St. Louis Kim Gardner $1 million. Now go win your race and destroy the company. Destroy St. Louis. Hurry up.
It's on the fast track. Regardless, whoever's in charge of that, it's definitely on the fast track. Also, I'm gonna save it for the 9 o'clock hour. We got the UFOs. We'll get into that during the 9 o'clock hour. You two can also, if you want to, because Tabitha asked about it. You had your readings with the medium.
Oh,
If you wanted to
yes.
talk about that, you're allowed to. If you guys want to
Thank
say
you
that.
for that.
Okay.
That's what we need.
I want to talk about just to see
And-
how creeped out we can get you, Vic. I would love to talk
Also,
about that.
why
We're
don't
gonna
you
have to
creeped out
sage
about
this
it?
room or something, because
Yeah.
Vic is very weirded
Cat-
out about it.
Well, it's not weirded out. I've already explained it, and I'll do it in the 9 o'clock
can't
hour
wait.
if you guys bring, because Tabitha asked. So I
There's
was like,
fascinating things.
so fine, she can do that as well, since it's the Friday show that we'll get into as well.
Sorry.
That was very good.
He's a singer, of course.
know.
Of course, he can do
That's
that.
not fair.
And I know a lot of people seem to be dropping dead. They just
Seem
do.
to be. They are.
But
Yeah.
I'm not. I was trying to with Lisa Marie
Every day.
Presley.
It's every single day.
Lisa,
54 years
Lisa
old.
Marie Presley dies at the age of 54, but there were a lot of drugs involved in her life as well.
She's had
I
a tough
mean-
go of things over the years.
So you're not going there.
We can talk about
Vaccine,
it. It doesn't.
vaccine related.
It doesn't matter to me.
It just seems like so many celebrities, so many people dying, and of course
I mean-
every day. And now it was Lisa.
Are you ready for a stat?
Give us the stat.
And if you want to talk about it next hour, you're more than welcome to. From 1970, check it out, Tabitha, watch me, to 2020, ready? There were 1,312 athletes suffered from cardiac arrest and died. That is what's the time period?
Actually,
there? Is that
I talked about this 2 days ago.
okay? Well, let's go over it again. From 2021 today, 1 year, there have been 1,500 athletes suffer from cardiac arrest and died. These are healthy people. Lisa Marie should be alive right now if she didn't do those hard drugs that you're talking about.
Well, that's what
It
we
could
have to
be-
remember. Elvis, everybody yesterday, I can't tell you how many people texted me and said, well, she probably died because her family has heart disease because her dad died at a young age. Well,
He
Elvis
died
was
of
one of the biggest drug users in
Yeah.
Wait a
the
minute.
century.
Elvis Presley's dead?
Elvis Presley died of drugs.
No,
Guys, you're killing me over here.
It is Friday.
What would Lisa Marie have? Why would she fake her own death? I didn't even know she was still with us, to be honest with you.
Who said she
I haven't
faked her
heard-
Who
death?
said she faked her death?
Well, Elvis is dead and Lisa Marie's dead. Let's just get that on the
all right,
record.
all right.
So, I mean, you got to ask yourself: did she take a bad fentanyl pill? Good question. She lives in Los Angeles, correct?
I don't know about that, but she has been very outspoken about her drug addiction issues. And when you are at some point a drug addict throughout your life and you struggle with it, it doesn't always, but it can cause heart problems. It can cause heart problems.
Was it COVID? Was it the vaccine? Did it
I
stop
don't-
your heart?
I don't even know if she's been vaccinated. Maybe she
Maybe
has.
she hasn't. Maybe it was
she
COVID.
hasn't. I
Maybe it
have
was
no
COVID.
idea.
Well, we're not being told about people's deaths anymore.
That's right.
So many cases we're not being told because people don't want to know or want other people to know about their choices, their health choices. And it's sad because that information should be told if it's always been told.
Remember this: every single person on the planet dies of cardiac arrest. Now, what leads up to that cardiac arrest is something
Fair
totally
enough.
different.
Fair enough.
So when you see a Lisa Marie passing out and dying and not being responsive to being woken up, first of all, they did resuscitate her for a little while. So they did take her out of the state of being non-responsive, and then she passed away later, which makes me think that they tried Narcan, or if it was drug related, you would have figured they would have.
Well, I'm not saying she had an overdose. I'm saying that when people have a history of drug abuse, it weakens their heart and they can have heart disease because of that. You know, there's been several people, that we've heard about and known about that died from heart attacks.
I think the status
But
fascinating.
it could be because of the vaccine. We don't know.
From 1970 to 2020, there were only 1,300 deaths.
Well,
cardiac related.
Well, Dr. Simone Gold, who we talked about, her stat was similar to that. In the 38 years prior to March of 2021, over the last 2 years, 1,100 athletes died.
Right. And there's your
in
benchmark. There's your
competition.
benchmark.
It's only taken 2 years to equal the previous 38.
And beat it by
when
200.
when it comes to heart-related issues. If that's not telling you the story, then nothing will. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Something's going on, as we've
No
talked about.
question about
and we
it.
talked about it with the docs that I told you, the cardiologist. Whether it was COVID or, as they said,
Investigative journalism, guys.
Yeah.
We need it.
Why are
So
all of these
anyway.
people getting all of a sudden
But
diagnosed with
Lisa-
stage 4 cancer?
That's interesting too. I have heard that.
There's all these people popping up. I know people who have had family members that died. These people had no symptoms. All of a sudden, they have something going on. They go to the doctor and, stage 4 cancer. Not 1, 2, 3, stage 4. Something is going on to make cancer proliferate in the bodies all of a sudden, because this was never like this before. So we have to admit something is going on.
Well, so let's go to that. Again, go to where the puck is going to be. We talk about the border. They want a demographic that's going to vote for Democrats. Stage 4 cancer, cardiac arrest, depopulation. The word depopulation starts to come up.
16-year-olds voting.
16-year-olds voting.
Your gas stoves going bye-bye.
You're starting to see a trend. If people really are dying, man, the elitists want to they want to thin out the herd a little bit. Correct?
Yeah.
Is that stupid? Is that way too
I've heard
confrontational?
Tabitha say that at least 100 times.
Is that way too confrontational to say on a morning show or a morning blog or whatever the hell we are? Is that way too confrontational?
No, it's
More
you're
people
right.
watch us after the live, so we're
I
good.
know.
You're absolutely right. Something is going on. The excess deaths prove it. What is going on? I don't know, but something is definitely
And it's
going on.
quick too.
I have my
like you said.
opinion of what's happening. I think that COVID is a bioweapon, and it was designed as a bioweapon, and it was designed to cause extinction.
Well, Joe Biden's still with us, and he's still the
Yeah, that's
president.
amazing.
Yeah,
That's
first
actually, is he?
He,
Maybe it's the
that's
same-
right.
maybe-
There's 5 Joe Bidens. I forgot.
Yeah.
JB1, JB2.
Maybe it's
way
the
up to
same
JB5.
animatronic guys that are keeping Mick Jagger up.
Oh my God. When we hey guys, we're gonna take a
So
quick
bad.
break.
Or
This is
Steven
gonna be a
Tyler.
big 9:00 hour. Don't go anywhere. Come right back with us. We'll be back. Yes, the music will be up. We're gonna replay the press conference that you didn't see anywhere else, which is connecting Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. It blew my mind. Even Tabitha was blown away when she thought it was fake news
I did think it was fake.
because
What
she
was
could
that?
not believe. Well, you weren't here yet.
In spirit, I was. What was it?
You're going to hear it when we come right back after the break. We'll replay that. We got that in the 9:00 hour. There's 171 unexplained UFO sightings just in the last year and a half to 2 years. We're going to get into that. It's a free-for-all Friday. It's kind of a paranormal Friday. Eric, if you want to talk about the reading you had that you felt was great, that you did with Scott, you can. Tabitha asked, she said she wanted to explain since we had the Weedium on last Friday. I don't partake in that, but you guys can go ahead and explain what you did. Tabitha wanted to talk, so we'll let her do that. Anything else you guys want to jump in with?
And why spirits have clothing.
We haven't figured that out. But you do
Sequins in
realize
particular.
you do realize that clothing has energy though now, right, Eric?
No, it does not.
Okay.
My pants are on fire.
You have to watch 2,000 Mules.
Sorry.
I thought it was energy. Eric's looking for
Pure
some of those energy boxers.
Pure
Oh.
energy.
Boxers.
Now,
That
wait a minute. The ones with the magnets on the
copper, baby. Copper fit.
Maybe they do go to heaven.
Oh my God.
I gotta have my copper fit.
It's cancelthisshow.com. Check us out. Share the show. Go to all the platforms as well. Scott Gherkin, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel, and Vic Faust. Back with more of Cancel This in just a moment. And welcome back to Cancel This, everybody. I'm Vic Faust, Tab of the Hassle, Eric Johnson, and Scott Gherkin bringing it to you like only we can. It is Cancel This, cancelthisshow.com. Politics, news, society, cancel culture, education, all at its finest. We have fun, we educate, we entertain, and you guys are all a part of it. You're why we do what we do. We've been together for about 3 years, and of course now making things happen on the podcast form. We will be talking about a lot of things in this hour, big time hour. Don't go anywhere. Share the show, as always. Share the show, share the show, share the show. Okay. It may be the beginning of the end for Joe Biden.
Maybe.
When the national media is controlled by Democratic forces, and it is, I mean, there's no question about that. And you're still seeing some stories, not what should be, not what was done with 24/7 live coverage from Mar-a-Lago when we were thought to believe that the former president Donald Trump, had classified documents, which, by the way, were unclassified. He did nothing wrong. But yet national media, CNN, everybody else was there. Well, we didn't get the national media with Joe Biden, but we are getting some of the stories regarding the classified documents. And then we had a press conference that Republicans brought to the table that blew a lot of people's mind, including Tabitha's, regarding connections now and possibly coming from the Hunter Biden laptop. We started to see all these dumps on Twitter from Elon Musk. Information is being given to us like we have never been given before. Eric said we are in a time that we've never seen before, where you're actually getting the full story. We haven't gotten the full story like this in a long time because everything is being brought in the public. Well, if you didn't think there was any connection with our president, Joe Biden, and any nefarious activities with Hunter Biden and bad people from across the country, watch the press conference that we'll play right now that was held with Republican members of Congress. Scott, if we can go ahead and bring that up. Just we played it at our 7:00 hour, but people were asking if they could see it again. And it's sad that we have to find it from TikTok.
From TikTok.
All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Today, we're going to provide you with something that you all aren't used to with respect to congressional investigations, and that's evidence. Committee Republicans have spoken with multiple whistleblowers from numerous schemes involving the Biden family, reviewed Hunter Biden's laptop, and received documents of previously unknown transactions. What we found are business plans aimed at targets around the world based on influence peddling, including with people closely tied to foreign governments like China and Russia. We also found plans based in the United States where the Biden family swindled investors of hundreds of thousands of dollars, all with Joe Biden's participation and knowledge. In 2019, shortly after announcing his campaign for president, Joe Biden told the American people he had nothing to do with and never had conversations with his family about their business dealings. That was a lie. Whistleblowers described President Biden as chairman of the board for these businesses. He personally participated in meetings and phone calls. Documents show that he was a partner with access to an office. To be clear, Joe Biden is the big guy. This evidence raises troubling questions about whether President Biden is a national security risk and about whether he is compromised by foreign governments. Despite the president's claim that he wasn't involved in Biden family business schemes, these photos show Joe Biden meeting with his family associates while vice president. Right there behind Paul. 4 different pictures. Committee Republicans have identified over 50 countries the Biden family sought businesses in. On the international side of the Biden family business, the deals were often led by Hunter Biden. And that map there behind Clay shows all the countries where the Bidens had a footprint in international business dealings. The investigation reveals a family that engaged with some of America's most powerful adversaries, planning to sell one of the largest sources of cobalt for electric vehicles in the world to the Chinese, for example. The Bidens flourished and became millionaires by simply offering access to the family. Among the dozens of shell companies the Bidens set up, there were millions of dollars of wire transfers, flights on Air Force Two to conduct personal business, and meetings with heads of state, all while Joe Biden was aware of what was happening. All the while, he turned a blind eye. Many transactions related to these businesses have raised red flags at U.S. banks.
Now, okay, now we're back. Now, if that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. That, by the way, is the new House Oversight and Accountability Committee Chairman, James Comer. He's a Republican from Kentucky, and he and his group launched the Republicans' long-awaited investigation into President Biden and his family's finances, and he was requesting information from the Treasury Department. And now you're starting to see something, as Tabitha explained earlier. Oh, our thoughts and presumptions are true and were true. And this is just the start of the investigation, and they're already there.
Remember, when you hear, if you're disgusted by this, don't forget to contact your congressman or senator. Remember that when everybody would say that, and then they would give their phone number out, and you would call Josh Hawley's office. I'm mortified. I can't believe that.
I didn't think people do that anymore.
I know. So
They do.
from now on, it should be, if you're mortified by this, call your local television station or call NBC. Here's ABC's phone number, and tell them to cover this story as the Republicans are in the House of Representatives doing their what is it called, whenever your discovery. Make sure your ABC affiliates are telling the damn story of these hearings like they told the story of the January 6th commission. I don't care that you call your congressman anymore. They have if they blow you off, they can do it in private. But if you call the people who are supposed to be doing the investigative reporting in your area and nationally, that's when that's who you should be calling right now. It should be a shock and awe campaign
What?
against these.
Come on now. We already know news is state ran media. They're paid propaganda.
Yeah, but
They get money to tell those stories. They don't care what we say or what we think or
They
how
do.
we feel.
They do.
No, they don't.
They do. They're
They
starting
don't.
to. They're starting
Look
to
what
listen.
happened to Elliot Davis. He did care, but they got to him, didn't they?
Yeah,
Now,
but
he doesn't report the same.
Yeah, but you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. I mean, as many problems as I have with local news. And by the way, we'll be talking about those Monday morning. Monica Adams joining us live in studio. She's going to be launching out on a new podcast as well, a former colleague of mine at Fox 2. And she also worked with KSDK. We're going to break down the news business and just talk about how crazy and
sinful.
We'll Monday morning at 8:00. You will not want to miss that.
I think
all about the sponsors.
I think we should. I wish that we had the hotlines of these places, because I think. I mean, if we put the hotlines out for these news agencies, the ones who are supposed to be taking care of us, like we talked about earlier, our national news should be our doctors as far as media goes. Our local news should be our doctors.
News cares about their sponsors and what their sponsors want.
But what do you think about the presser? Does that surprise you in any manner?
It surprises me that Scotty had to find it on TikTok and not over at C-SPAN or over at ABC or seeing, that's what surprises me.
Where else did you find it?
PBS. I found it on PBS, and that was it. When I looked it up, as a matter of fact, I couldn't find it anywhere but PBS.
Okay, well, that press conference was held Wednesday afternoon. So we're, about a day and a half later.
And it's nowhere to be found.
And nobody had really seen it. I didn't know if it was on Fox News.
I thought it was fake because I couldn't find it. I'm like, this has to be fake.
And now we're left going, why isn't that being shown? If it was something with former President Trump and there was connections with him and Don Jr. or other family members with corruption and financial situations connected to all sorts of people, bad players, bad characters across the country, would it be everywhere? You better believe it would be.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no doubt about that. Terry says, I have calls and emails into Congressman multiple times. Never, not once, even got a response. That's what I've always heard.
I think you have to try. I don't believe in calling your local news. Your news doesn't care what you think. But I do think
has
you
it
have
ever
to call
been
your
tried?
Congress people.
Has it ever been
Oh my
tried where
gosh,
there was
ask Vic? He
where
would be
there
the
was
one to
an
know.
onslaught of people calling the news line saying, "We want this story"? Has that ever? I don't know. I'm just. Not,
I don't know either. I've never worked for the local news.
Has there ever been an outing, a doxing of the news desk phone line that wherever you were able to call maybe the general manager of these places? What's the phone number of the people who run NBC National, the Lester Holt connection? Where are those people? Can you have 100,000 people calling them in a day and saying, we want to know about this Hunter Biden laptop story as it goes on?
If what the people wanted, Kevin Steincross would still be working at Fox 2.
That has nothing to do with this investigation.
Sponsors? No, it doesn't. But I'm just talking about local news and how they care.
We can talk about that Monday.
A bazillion people called in to the station and wanted him to get his job back. But all they cared about were the sponsors.
Yeah, but the story is what I'm talking about. We can all go and do our due diligence, our research. Scotty did a great job finding that thing and playing it just now. But there is that mass media, and the more mass you put in your media, the more people know about it. Mass media can
That's why we're so important, Eric.
Exactly.
That's why what we're doing and playing that is so important.
Yeah. And that's going to be the story to me, is how another part of the story is how you are able to lie by omission. I think that that's a big thing in media right now, and it needs to be part of our college courses. You're lying to the public by not reporting to the public.
Who told us that they felt like that was lying? You asked that question to one of our guests, and I can't remember who it was. You said, is omission lying to the public?
Of course it is.
And the gentleman who we had on said, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because
that was the guy from, wait a minute.
Because that should be national news across, including Fox.
Yeah.
Because this is a House Oversight Committee investigation into the president of the United States. And they're already putting evidence out.
When you are starting to look at George Santos as you're
nobody even knows who he is.
Exactly. But it's CNN's above the fold.
Well, nobody
headlines.
watches CNN either.
Yeah, that's true too.
And that's why local news is dying as well. I mean, you got to tell the stories that people want to hear, or at least be freaking balanced. Tell the whole freaking story. All right. This is not a committee that's put together. Oh, we're just going to look for everything bad. I mean, they're bringing evidence. They're showing evidence.
I think that what we need to do is,
and they're having to get documents from Janet Yellen, who is a Democrat.
Yeah. What we need to do maybe going forward is we got to find, and if you know any 20 something that's way into TikTok that knows how to do TikTok, maybe we feed young kids these little nuggets of the story and put it on TikTok, and then it will be seen by a lot of people. Because I don't think that the group of people who are going to actually change the world are actually watching Lester Holt, to be honest with you, but they definitely don't know about this story either. Maybe you have to say, hey, this is day 16 of the Hunter Biden congressional. Here's what we know so far, and maybe make it like a TikTok soap opera. Tabitha, I'm thinking over here. Look at me. You start writing down, because I'm on fire right now.
Because it's frustrating to me,
because we're interested about the story doesn't mean that people are interested about the story.
Well, it's because people don't know. If we didn't play that TikTok video earlier today of this press conference, I would bet you that 90% of the folks listening to the show wouldn't even know about it.
And you wouldn't have even known about it.
No, you didn't know about it.
Even you wouldn't have known about it.
Not,
and you're supposed to be the most dialed in person on the planet.
I did not know about it. I did not know about it. I did not see it.
She was busy with electric stoves. That's fine.
And when I tried to look it up, when Vic sent us that message, I looked it up, and then there was a little tag at the bottom that said for educational purposes only. And I saw that and I thought, you know what? I don't recognize any of these people. I can't believe this is actually happening. Is it real? And then I looked it up, and the only article I could find a day later was pbs.com. That was it. No one else was talking about this press conference.
James Comer is going to continue. He is a bulldog, and that's why he is head of this oversight committee into the investigation. So that investigation's just started. He's brand new. He is not somebody that's just going to go away. That coupled with what's going on with Biden with illegal classified documents. I hope we don't have to go through this again. What he has is illegal. They were not declassified by Obama. We would have heard that by now. What former President Trump had was declassified by him, nothing illegal. Thank you.
The thing about it is if you don't, it's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one there to hear it, did it really make a sound?
Bingo.
It's all there is to it. It's like we're in a position right now, not we, but the country is in a position right now where the House of Representatives finally is going to have the ability to do oversight and get to the bottom of this damn laptop story. It's a very confusing story for a lot of people.
And then where are you going to hear the truth? We're
Amen.
getting to the point now where unless you're watching a podcast like us, unless you're looking at Telegram or you're looking at some obscure news site that you can't find anywhere, you're not going to get the truth. You're just not. And I am beyond frustrated with national media. Local media, not so much. I think they, for the most part, report on local stories, and that's what they're supposed to do. But national media, even Fox National, I'm frustrated with all of it. I think it's all government propaganda. It's two sides of the same coin. And I'm not a big fan of any of what I see. I like Newsmax. I like America Online News. I'm done with News Nation. I tried to give them a shot. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Once they hired Chris Cuomo, I can't do it anymore.
Okay. Well, Tabitha, I'm afraid you just spelled out the reason why we're not going to hear about this. Now we can get to UFOs.
Yes. 100. Well, there were 350 sightings just in the last 2 years. Since March of 2021, 350 UFO sightings.
Yeah.
Now, 171 of those have not been accounted for, meaning the government is admitting, yeah, we have no idea what those are. The other ones, they produced documentation or evidence as to what they are, saying, yes, we know what you saw on Monday at 3:15 out in the country. But there's 171 sightings in the last year and a half. We have no freaking idea what that is. And we all know UFOs exist, right, Tabitha?
Yeah. I think so.
Good, right, Eric? And right, Scott? We're all in agreement.
I don't know.
Unidentified.
I'm in agreement.
I don't know, guys.
171 of them that now the government said they don't know.
I don't know either. I'm not convinced UFOs are a thing.
You're just saying you're being like Tabitha.
I'm not being like Tabitha.
Really?
No, because
come on, you're just trying to disagree to disagree.
No, I'm not. Where do they come from? How do you travel?
Antarctica.
How do
I've
you
already
travel
told you about this.
millions
There's
of-
a civilization.
So they
From a
live.
inside
galaxy
the Earth.
far, far away.
You already know this.
I kind of believe maybe they don't.
Okay.
You think it's all propaganda?
Yeah.
so does this
Propaganda
mean?
for what?
So does this mean?
I don't know what they are, and I'm just saying.
How
maybe-
can you believe we are the alone in
here's
the universe?
again. This goes okay.
Todd wants to know, how do you explain cattle mutilization?
I would like to know too.
Mutilation in the middle of nowhere?
chupacabras. Now let me move on. Let me move on
There's no
to.
such
Let me,
thing as a chupacabra.
let me move on.
Oh, God.
So, look, listen. I'm not trying to be the
Bigfoot.
Yes, I think there are
No,
Bigfoots.
stay away from Bigfoot.
They just shave themselves and they come out looking like John
Chupacabra's
Fetterman.
the same thing.
There are so many video
Here's the deal.
excerpts of UFOs that we
Here's
have
the deal.
no idea what the hell they are. Average everyday people shooting videos.
Here's the deal. Back in the 50s, when this thing became popular, sci-fi books came out and they started talking about UFOs and aliens and things like that. And basically, I even remember seeing pictures of UFOs when I was a kid in high school in the 70s or in the 80s. And it basically looked like a Polaroid of somebody throwing a trash can lid in the air, right? That's what UFOs used to look like. They were flying saucers and they looked very not too technologically advanced. They just looked like a round metal thing. And that was what a UFO was. But flash forward to today and the sightings we see today, and you see these amazing technological advances in what a UFO looks like. Well, why didn't they look like that back in the 50s, Tabitha?
Maybe the globalists ruled them too, and they outlawed.
So the
their
advancements in
gas.
UFO technology has come that far since the 50s. It's not just
Well,
it's not a
no.
metal lid anymore.
No, but
now
but
it's
you're just missing out on almost the entire picture, and that is from the beginning of time. People have seen UFOs of all different shapes. They had the cigar type UFOs decades ago. Maybe cartoons and stuff portray the round alien vessel more often than the others, but people have seen there. They say there's 4 different types. There's the big black square. There's, I think, one that's like a triangle, a big black triangle, but I think that might be the same one described as a square. There's the long cylinder that's silver, and then there's the round shape with the lights. So there have always been these different
all right.
sightings.
I need everybody to
of
go to
different
Google.
UFOs.
Troy, and as you go to Google, well,
Everybody go to Google right now, and I need you to do this for me. Put these words in: 1960s UFO pictures. Do it right now, Tabitha.
Maybe that's how
Tabitha?
the media portrayed it. But I spoke to Stephen Bassett. I think you guys interviewed him with me.
Why in the world
one
would you not be
time.
able?
Yes.
Why could you not?
Steve Bassett, who is one of the leading experts on UFOs, gave us the 3 or 4 different types of UFOs that have been seen, along with what type of beings belong to the UFOs. Because not all the aliens look alike either. There's the little gray people with the big eyes. There's the tall blonde ones that look like Greek goddesses.
that's right. Those were my
Great
people.
Goddesses.
There's all
I haven't
different-
seen those.
Yeah.
I'm
Do
from
they
that
hang out
side.
at Napoli?
So when you talk to people who've had
Yes.
alien abduction experiences, they tend to describe different types of extraterrestrial beings
Yeah.
that belong to different. So
I
we're
need
going
you
to
I need you
assume
to go online
they come
right
from different
now.
parts of
I
the
need
universe.
Tabitha, you to go to
And-
and just put this in there. 1960s with the S UFO picture.
Well, Troy says, guys, a lot of the sightings, maybe not all of them, are of our own TR-3B anti-gravity spacecraft.
Oh,
Now, I was told that over at Boeing, and I don't know if this is true or not, I asked somebody, that you could take an elevator down hundreds and hundreds of feet, and there's all kinds of technology,
that might
so
be,
to
that might be
speak,
true.
that has been worked on or there that is deep secret.
That might be
I can
true.
promise
They're
you that it's
15 years
true.
ahead of us.
Who is?
Whoever handles all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, but there's 2 sides to this story. Vic, I know what you're saying is true because I had a really good friend who actually worked at the Pentagon directly on the J8 team, who worked directly for the chief the chief of staff. And so he told me, and that's how I met him, is he came to St. Louis. This is somebody with the highest level of security clearance you can have in this country. And he came here, he would stay here 1 week out of every month, and he would go to Boeing and he would work on these prototypes
Mhm.
of different aircraft. I
Okay.
know that's there. But we also have the congressional hearings, and we have people with just as much security clearance or more who say even we who know what these prototypes are, even we who know what other countries are doing because we have spies, what we're seeing in the sky does not look like the technology any of us have. Because even this guy that I know who had the highest security clearance a person can get, he sat in there in 9/11 and helped make decisions about what they did that day. Even he told me, absolutely, extraterrestrials exist. Absolutely, the government has files about extraterrestrials and these aircrafts. And even him, with his highest security clearance, can't see those files.
So this exercise in the Pentagon coming out yesterday and saying, we don't know what these are. That was a lie, is what you're saying.
No, but who said it was a lie?
You did. You said they're absolutely real. So if somebody on the planet Earth knows that they're absolutely real and they can quantify it to something, the Pentagon comes out yesterday and pretty much says, yeah, we got this, but we're not sure what they are.
They're saying they don't know what they are. They have these congressional hearings.
So why do they do that?
That they keep putting off, and they're saying that we people who are at the highest level of security clearance, we people who know every prototype we're working on this country, we know what Russia's doing, we know what China's doing because we have spies. Everything we're seeing up in the sky is not of this earth.
Joe says the government's been working with aliens since the 50s.
I think I want to be on this show, Vic, if it's okay with you. I want to be the devil's advocate for all of these fun little things that we always talk about.
Yes, be you, Eric.
I want to be the devil's advocate. I want to be the devil's advocate of cabinets flying open on TikTok videos. I want to be
even though the cabinets have flown open in houses you've lived in yourself.
Okay, fine. I also want to be the advocate of UFOs not being in existence because of TikTok videos, because I do my own research. And when I go back to 1950 and I see these flying trash can lids and they look a lot different now, I'm like, how did they get so advanced all of a sudden? That is when I say to you, how do ghosts get clothing? How are there Macy's tags on ghosts? It makes me go, there's no such thing as a damn ghost anymore, because I don't think that a damn t-shirt can get to the other side of the dimensional thought process. When I see chupacabras, I go, that's just a mangy ass coyote. That's all that damn thing is. But there's sightings of them. You see what I mean? I think paranormal is the great folk stories of our day. I do. I think that paranormal activity.
So you're trying to say ghosts don't exist? Even though you've seen one in your own house and you came here on the show and told us all about what you saw, you still think they don't exist?
I'm doing my own research. I don't.
Just because ghosts wear clothes, you think they don't exist?
I think the human brain can fool you to think.
One of Trump's former aides said that he was ready to talk about it, and then at the last moment decided against it.
He would have been murdered and assassinated had he discussed it.
Okay.
Because there are some things they don't want us to know.
But it is interesting because we're not talking about dinosaurs, but Tabitha says they didn't exist, and you do believe they existed.
Because there's a damn bone sitting in a Smithsonian
Institute.
If it's a bone, or if it's a fossil,
it's a rock.
Is it a bone, a fossil?
Well, what made the damn fossil? Even if the bone deteriorated 1 million years ago, what? I was watching.
What about the giant human skeletons?
Giants, Eric.
What do you do? Are you looking at me like, do you believe in the giant people?
No, those were Fetterman's ancestors.
Exactly.
We've talked about this.
Exactly.
They have found giant human skeletons, Eric. Giant.
When you say
the
giant,
skull was bigger than you are.
No, you have not.
Yes, they have.
They have not.
Yes, they have.
Have they, Scotty?
Yeah, well, Scotty knows everything.
No comment. Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah,
that's the name of my new album. Scotty doesn't know.
Or Scotty
ever heard
knows.
that song? Scotty doesn't know.
Yes, I have.
Right.
Never mind.
Anyway.
Great White Mike says that's the Nephilim in the Bible, Eric. The giants, and what Tabitha's talking
Maybe
about
you're
with
right.
the giant skeletons.
I'm also had the ability to say I don't know what I don't know. Right.
And
but I'll tell you one thing I did. Like, I don't know why it came up, but yesterday somewhere on social media they said that they had dinosaurs on Noah's Ark.
No, I said that. I joked about
No,
that.
I saw a video on it.
I
and
joked about that.
I saw a video on it, Vic, of some guy saying, now, is it so out of the realm of possibility that maybe there were dinosaurs on Noah's Ark? Because I don't know why I even clicked on the damn thing. I was going, yeah, because I thought they didn't even live in the same time period. I thought mammals came out of, reptilians. I didn't know the answer, but some guy was dead on.
No mention of dinosaurs in the Bible. There are of the giant people.
There aren't.
No mention of dinosaurs in the Bible.
You have to break down vocabulary and what languages that we're using. And it's very difficult. I went and looked. There really aren't.
And there are references to
specific references to dinosaurs biblically.
Is there any
but there
way
are two UFOs.
Is there any way that Vic, without being disrespectful to your church, walk up to him and say, listen, I do this show. It's a nutty little show. Were there dinosaurs on the planet? And see what they say. Can you just say,
there's nothing disrespectful
can you
about
say
that?
Can you say, how do you resolve the Bible to dinosaurs?
Because as Tabitha said, if it's not scriptural, Eric, was it there? Was it not? Does it matter? Is it a life and death situation for us?
Yes, it is.
Why is it?
Because your faith is built on what you learn in life.
No, your faith is built on faith. Things unseen.
Do you think there were dinosaurs?
From what I see right now, yes.
Okay. It's not in the Bible.
Unless somebody educates me, and I'm trying to keep an open mind regarding Tabitha.
No, and I'm not saying there's not dinosaurs. I'm saying I've personally never seen proof there is.
I've never seen a murder hornet, but I heard they exist.
You can look it up online.
We showed a picture of a
There's
murder
no
hornet.
dinosaur bones.
That's right. There are
We had a picture. It like fell at a door or something.
Yeah, but that could be that could also be a vaccinated bee that went crazy. We don't know.
That's true.
I'm just
Vaccinated.
Who knows? It could
And
be
as silly
a
as it
mutated
sounds,
bee.
Bees are being vaccinated right now.
Uh-oh.
You can look it up. Let your little fingers do the walking. You can look it up.
That's fantastic.
But at least we know. So you're more tending to believe not in UFOs. Eric.
Okay, I'm going to start. Here you go.
That there is not another form of life. That
all of you guys
anywhere.
on Facebook right now, Scotty, all of
or
you guys,
any of our platforms,
all of you guys. I think that this is healthy. I'm the guy you have to prove that this stuff is real. If you have evidence that you can show me that there is, I'm not Art Bell. Art Bell used to just take in information and tell stories about it. And then we all went, whoo.
Do you have any of the videos I sent you? Were you able to call those up?
I got one here. Did you send me another one?
Maybe it didn't go through.
I mean, I got 100 videos.
So I can play this, but it's going to take over the mics and everything. So you need to know when I play this, like,
good.
We can watch it and then we'll
shut
comment.
up.
Good. Then they'll give me.
How
time
long
to
is this
shut my
video? Do you
face.
know?
I don't. We'll watch it for like 10 seconds, 15,
All right.
and then we'll get Eric's opinion.
I wish I could.
Come
I'll
on.
hit it and then I'm going to put it on the big screen there so you guys can kind of see it. But
Here we
watch your
go.
computers.
Bring the high heat.
All right,
Let's
here we
go.
go.
Do something. Bunch of blimps.
Eric, a bunch of blimps.
They're going to
Is that like
lighter than
taken from an airplane, a passenger flight coming out of New York City,
When was this?
2022.
You want to do that again? Can we see it one more time?
In TikTok.
Drone, somebody says.
What is that? I don't know.
Well, there was an alien. I mean, not an alien. There was a UFO sighting just this week in Mexico. On, I believe it was January the 10th. There was an active volcano. Many folks reported seeing a UFO over the volcano. And what some of in the article, what some of the scientists stated is that obviously they're extraterrestrial. They're very intelligent. They know how to stay hidden. If we see them, it's because they want us to see them. But I think it's interesting that the majority of UFO sightings are seen over natural disasters. They're seen over war. Like I talked about the astronomers in Ukraine who said, hey, we see UFOs everywhere
Mhm.
because we figured out how to change the refraction on our cameras and we can catch them. We
Oh.
see them. They released this giant report about it. And I think we have to remember that our Earth brain thinks that
Okay,
everything we see is what is really there.
I'm with you there.
And the
I'm
Earth
picking up what you're
brain
saying there.
may not see something that travels faster than the speed of light
Okay.
or slower than the speed of light. We have to remember our eyes see things a certain way.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean that everything we see is what it is.
I'm with you there.
And when you look up into the sky, we have to remember things are seen in light years. So when you look up into the sky, I believe it's the closest star is 4,000 light years away.
Okay.
When you look up at the sky at night, you have no idea what's up there because it takes 4,000
Yeah.
years to get to you.
Yeah.
So when you're looking up at even the closest star, what you're looking at was what they saw 4,000 years ago, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Not what they
Don
saw,
is-
but what the
Don
star
is-
looked
These
like.
aliens must be old as shit.
Well,
That's
they
why
were
they're
here
all.
be-
That's why they're all hairless and wrinkly. They're just old.
They were here before us.
And maybe they're humans that traveled through space and they're coming back to look at all of the stupid mistakes we made or they made before they evolved.
They can't even hide Joe Biden's documents in his garage. How the hell can they hide? How can they hide aliens in Antarctica?
Because it's on purpose. Because we're not ready yet, Eric. Because it would blow.
Don't you think that
human
if
kind's
if
mind.
China's leaders and
Would it,
Iran's
though?
leaders and the United States leaders, if every leader on the face of the earth
Yes, because they
knew
signed it.
about aliens and they could talk about it, you think they would still be in this enemy kind of postures, or would they be like, look, we're ants, we need to come together
Because
here.
a treaty was signed.
So
by
that
15 massive countries.
don't you think that someone in the Trump camp would have let it leak?
No, because it's so massive, so big.
You think so?
Do you really think it would send like mass hysteria if we knew there was aliens? Like,
Possibly. With some of the population, absolutely.
Well, it
What
would
would they do?
destroy.
What are you
Unless
gonna
they
do
were
for
here
us?
shooting and blowing up buildings,
Well,
what does it matter?
Maybe that's on its way.
Would it screw with your?
Didn't you see the movie?
Which I've seen a bunch of them.
Will Smith.
Yeah.
Would it screw with your religion, with your
Independence
faith?
Day.
Today is
No,
our
wouldn't.
Independence Day.
I don't think it would screw with my faith either. It wouldn't.
I believe it already exists, so I know it doesn't mess with my
It's
faith.
like, are there
No.
rocks on Mars?
the
That
only-
doesn't screw with my faith.
The only thing you guys try to do and screw with my face is with your readings with
What
the
read?
medium.
Okay,
And
now we're
it's-
cooking
and
with
it's-
Crisco.
And
There you
it's
go.
9:38.
Now you
And
there you go.
guys need to get to your readings
No.
and what you got out of it.
Okay.
Because Tabitha wanted, maybe we start with Tabitha. Tabitha wanted to let people know, since we had the medium on, the medium,
The medium.
and you guys
Shannon
got
Rock.
you guys got a lot out of this. So you wanted to talk about it.
Eric and I, we had Shannon Rock on the show here, and a couple 2 Fridays ago, still to this day, our most popular show with over 18,000 views. Myself and Eric and Scotty did one before us. We all had our individual readings with Shannon, and we all have our individual links. I haven't watched either of your readings, Scotty. I don't know if we have a link for yours. Eric, I
No.
haven't watched yours yet because I'm not watching it till you watch 2,000 Mules.
That's
I don't know what that
awesome.
means.
But I will tell you what, it was a different experience. First of all, I really like Shannon as a person. She is absolutely a fantastic person.
Yeah, everybody likes Shannon.
Absolutely love her. And there were some things she said to me into the reading that it wasn't what I expected, because I think that the way I view it is, if you have the ability that she has to communicate with people who've maybe passed on, who come in, communicate to her, it's not like a script. It's not like you can say, hey, Shannon, I really want to talk to my grandma. Will you have my grandma step forward and talk to me? It just doesn't work that way. People come to her, spirits, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, come to her, and she can't choose who it is that speaks up. And so from my reading, some of the things that happened were people from my past. And some of the things that she told me were straight on. A guy that I know really well who passed away back in 2004. She would have no way of knowing what he looked like. It's not on Facebook. It's not in social media. There were things she told me that were absolutely spot on, but not the things I expected to hear, if that makes sense, because you can't script it. It's in my opinion, if she wanted to research if she was fake, she would have had things that I expected to hear. Does that kind of make sense at all?
It does.
To me, it does.
to me, it was.
So what did you get out of it? How does this help you with your life then? That's my
I didn't
question.
do it to help me with my life.
Then why did you do it?
Just out of curiosity. I don't know how if other people do. I didn't go into this thinking, okay, this is going to help me feel better or make me think differently. I already believe in heaven. I already believe that when we leave this earth, we go on to somewhere better. I think our life here on earth is just a blink in time. So I don't think anything came out of it that made me feel any different than I already do. But it was just the curiosity of what is she going to tell me? What does she see? Do I really, not believe? I don't want to say, do I believe her? Do I believe it exists?
No, that's
I
cute.
already
No,
believe it does.
Do you believe what she? Okay, that you nailed it. Do you believe she was talking to the people that you thought she was talking to?
I think that if she doesn't have a choice who presents themselves to her is the
Okay.
way I get it.
So she's seeing something. She doesn't care if you believe or not. She's hearing something and she's relating it to you. And then
It's
that's
not
when
like she can say Tabitha's brother, step forward, Tabitha's grandma,
Yeah.
step forward. It's people who come to her to communicate with her who want to send you a message. And so in that was a guy that I knew years ago. Some of the names she mentioned were names of family members of mine who have lost other relatives.
Yes.
But names that I wouldn't think she would ever guess.
Yes.
And so it's if she was fake and she wanted to give me a reading because she was just trying to take money or this or that, she could have gave me the people that I expected it to be. Does that kind of make sense? She could have went on my Facebook and say, gee, Tabitha just lost her brother. And she lost another brother a couple years ago. And she just lost her grandma and her good friend. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I don't believe for 1 minute she researched me.
Psychics to me are always like the kid that's, I can guess your weight at Six Flags. And they have a way of figuring out how to get the information from you so they can nail your weight. Boom, you weigh 187 pounds. They go, oh my God, how did you know that? And they go, jump on the scale and boom, you're 187 pounds. There's a way they can get to that information. Psychics, for me, have always been, number one, how the hell did you know that? Because no one ever would have known what you just said. Like when Scotty told me about his reading over at the old place, I was like, wow, what the? When I can get to a state of what the hell are you, that's crazy. That's when I start to get very interested in it. The reading she did for me, there were multiple moments where she got to what the hell? How did you know that? Right.
Exactly.
And I think the reason, and this is why it freaks me out, people like Vic a little bit. I don't do it.
I freak you out
a little bit because you can,
You're scary.
because I don't understand how religion over here has any kind of negativity between the spiritual the people that can say I can talk to spirits and religion like Catholic, Baptist, whatever else, and they look at it as this evil thing. I look at them as the same thing. I look at psychics like this. When you've lost somebody, I just lost my sister. I look at it as a way to go to somebody and attempt to get some peace, some relief that the other person is okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think a psychic does for me.
Right.
Not that they don't, it's not like a card trick to me. It's people that can say, I'm a psychic. I don't know where I got this ability from, but your sister just told me something interesting. And I go, what? And they go, blah, 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 blah. And they can nail it. Then you're like, it's kind of a mind scramble a little bit. But for me, it's like, I feel like I'm at peace now because I feel like this person somehow got some information that says, damn, my sister's all right.
And I think people do seek out people like Shannon for that peaceful reason.
And that's why I asked Tabitha if she got
Yeah.
anything out of it. Tab was like, not really, because I didn't look for it. You
Right.
went because you wanted to get something out
I
of
did it because Scotty's story.
and you felt like you got something out of it.
And I'm sure that's why most
And
people
Dottie
go
says
to a
that
medium.
Shannon is not
Well,
a
she's-
psychic.
she's a medium.
Yeah, she's a
There's a
medium.
difference between a
There is
psychic.
a
Okay, what's the
difference.
difference? I don't even know.
Well, she's
This-
a medium, meaning she's a medium
She's not
between you
predicting the future.
and the other world.
Okay.
The medium, like some of the things that she might be
And-
saying that doesn't directly relate to you, but come to fruition was just messages from other people that you need to be a passer of that information.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
A
and just to
channel.
answer your question, that you said I freak you out because I'm not going to do a medium.
Not for
or a reading.
I use the wrong words on this show all the time. I didn't mean to say
Here
freak you out.
even Shannon chimed in. I guess she's listening.
Oh, I'm glad what she's.
A medium talks to the other side.
Thank you.
Psychics read cards and crystal balls.
And my whole deal, Eric, and I'll say it again. It's like I want you guys want to talk about it. I let you. I don't do it because scripturally I'm told not to. Not because I hate this and I hate that.
How-
because let me finish real quick.
Okay.
I told Shannon, hey, There's no doubt in my mind that people have the ability to do this.
Right,
For
right.
me, it's whether I'm going to go participate in it.
Right.
And for me, it's not for me. If you two want to go do that with your life,
Can I ask you a
you guys
question?
can do that. But me and my family, we're not going to do
Can I
that.
ask you a question? Because I'm seriously, I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I've been baptized now in 3 different faiths.
What does it mean to believe in God? Because that's a very deep. Do you not follow scripture? Do you not?
Hold on.
Well, but you say things that you need to make
Oh,
sure
so I
that
was
you
I
understand
was
what you're
baptized
saying.
Pentecostal. I was
But that
baptized
doesn't mean you're
Episcopalian,
Christian.
and I was baptized Baptist. Okay, and the reason
But
I
what
did
does that mean?
it means that I want to get closer to Jesus in my own personal life.
Then you would follow his word.
But his word has never said don't go to a medium.
Yes, it does. I gave 10 different scriptures, Eric, 2 Fridays ago.
It's just one human being over here.
No, you can't
talking to another human being over
here. But you can't. I mean, like
It's
I said,
not saying it doesn't happen.
exactly. I'm not, and I don't have a problem. Hey, you want to go do it?
Okay, let me tell you this.
But it's almost as if you have a problem that I don't want to do it.
I have a problem,
and I don't have a problem.
I know. But hold on. I was told one time, but Scotty Gherkin's the
And
coolest guy I know, and I'll tell you why.
Shannon.
Look at his.
I know. Can we go back to
hold on
talking
just a
about
second.
Shannon?
Stop. Hold on a sec. Scotty Gherkin has tattoos. I was told in Kansas City, Missouri, circa 1994, right before a Shooting Star tour, because I really wanted a tattoo. But the Pentecostal preacher said, if you get a tattoo, you're not getting into heaven.
Oh, damn.
So I didn't get the damn tattoo, and I was always to this day wondering why and where in the Bible it says if you get a tattoo, you're not getting into heaven.
I believe there is a scripture, talking about.
Well, yeah, but
like,
it's loose. I mean,
it's like, I don't know if it's like defaming your body or something to your body. That there is something in the scripture, but.
And Todd, yes, next week we will have somebody on who talks how I do.
Okay,
because that will be 2 shows.
It's important because I want to know, am I doing the wrong thing, Vic? It's because if you say I don't care if you do it. But I want to know why it's the wrong thing.
I want you to make decisions for yourself. That's what Cancel This is all about.
But if I ask you a question, don't be afraid to say this is why you probably shouldn't be doing that.
No, I just tell you why I don't.
Can we go back to talking about Shannon before we leave?
I think,
and there are several people who talked to Shannon, and it wasn't just you two. Other people have talked to her, like Dottie and others, and for them, they felt it was a great thing to do. They felt like they got something out of it.
And everybody goes into it looking for something different.
Yeah, and that's what Shannon told us when she was on with us, was the fact that, hey, you know what? I didn't ask for this skill. You think it's fun walking by somebody and always like getting whapped upside your head, like, oh my God, there's this.
In every spiritual journey,
my body isn't going to heaven.
Correct.
It doesn't matter what I do here.
Okay,
this is my expression.
I love it.
My soul, my spirit will go to heaven.
And trust me, that's why I always wanted a tattoo, especially when I was younger.
Here, you can have this one.
Can we go back to
Shooting Star? Look,
Yeah,
it's a star. I love it. Okay.
Can we please talk about Shannon, Eric, and your reading? Because you and I talked about it outside of the show, and you told me that you really everything that some of the things that she said to you couldn't be known by anyone else.
There's a lot of things with mediums that is you have to get your brain past. This is a card trick. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how did you do that? How did you pick the ace of spades and you made it pop up in the deck? How did you do that? There's a trick there. So when you're always talking, when you're with a medium, you're always like, that's weird. How did you do that?
So you've been with a medium several times?
Huh?
You've been with a medium several times?
I've been my mom used to do the medium stuff every now and then.
So this has been in your family.
No.
So it's kind of been near and dear to you already.
No, absolutely not.
Can you give specific details?
Good question.
Of things that happened in your reading in which you said, wow, like a wow moment. Because there were some in mine, and I'm curious what those were in yours.
I can explain one of them. Just in regards to, I mean, is it okay for me to talk
about
it?
Yeah, go, please,
okay.
Please.
In regards to his mother, she was channeling his mother and sister, and his mother had a message for him in regards to the fact that he wasn't there at the very end, but he was there very close to the end, and he's been carrying around guilt because he wasn't there. And she said, "It's okay. I'm okay. It's okay that you were not there."
Yep.
And there's no way she would have known that. He didn't tell her that.
Yeah. She said, I'm having a hard time
breathing.
To
me, that's a healing thing.
Yeah.
It helps you.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
And I already have that. I guess I explained to you guys a story, and we can talk about it another day, not right now, but where I was in a very bad shape. I was having a bad asthma attack. Anyway, I saw the person next to me die. I didn't know they died. I saw people that came down and I believe took her to her next place. In my mind, you can't convince me that there's not something after this life. So talking to Shannon validates that for
Do you
me
know,
that, hey,
yeah,
there are people out there. Those people are giving messages through her.
Yeah.
She's the medium through her to you.
maybe.
And some of the things that she told me were absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
And they're not things she could find online. You couldn't research these things. It would be impossible to connect those
But
dots.
it didn't help you, you said. That's what
Well,
I don't
but
understand.
I didn't go there to her for her to help
Yeah.
me. Eric did, Scotty did,
I did not.
or
I
some,
was just reaching out to her, and she said, "You need to call me," and said, "Your dad wants to know how your new truck is."
Yeah.
exactly.
And I had just bought a new truck the
That
day
was, that was what
before,
got me too.
and I did not post it on Facebook. I don't do
That was
stuff
your wow.
like that.
Yeah, that was your wow moment.
I
When you
went,
were telling
what?
me
I
this
was
story,
like,
you're
what are you talking
"Oh."
about? My new truck. There's no way she would have known that I had that
Exactly.
truck. There's absolutely no way.
And there are people, Vic, to your point, that do reach out to mediums because they need to know how their family member's doing
Like Eric.
on the other side. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that wasn't my reason for doing it. But I'm glad I did do it.
Do you believe that people that have passed on in your life are guardian angels or look out for you
Absolutely.
in the afterlife? Do you believe in that, Vic?
No, because we already have our own guardian angels.
And that too. But that doesn't mean you have
Appointed
more
by
than
God.
one person.
Doesn't that mean that there could be more
And
though? That could
maybe.
be added to it?
None of us know. I mean, we could philosophize all day long on that.
Yeah.
You know,
I believe
there's some of
I
those things.
personally believe that. I believe that though they're
Yeah.
watching over us.
I think they're all in this room.
And like I said, believe what you want. There's a reason I don't do this, or my family will never do this. And it's scripturally based. And I have no problem if anybody else is doing it, which is why
And
I allow it on this show.
I ask you not to challenge you at all. I ask you to learn.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I want you to know that. I'm
And-
not asking you to try to put
No.
you into a corner. I'm literally asking you in the way that is, if I get a tattoo, do I go to hell? I'm asking you for exactly the same reason.
No, a tattoo has nothing to do with this. What do you want me to exactly learn?
I want you to
Because I'm
say
actually
this is.
trying to
I want you
help-
to go.
I'm trying to help you learn too, though.
I want you to go, Eric.
That's what the conversation.
You can go get it. You can go talk to a medium all you want, but let me show you scripture. This scripture, this one, this one, this
I
one.
gave
this
10
one.
scriptures 2 weeks ago. If you want me to continue to do it, I will. It's clear as day. Christians are not supposed to deal with mediums. I don't have a problem if you do. People find solace in it. Do what you want to do. I mean,
But
that's one
isn't
of those
everything a
things.
gift from God? If the
Eric
medium,
works-
if the medium has
But
the
now
ability,
you don't even realize what you just did, though.
Okay.
You put it into your own terms again.
really?
That's where you're making the mistake. Well, now you're assuming everything's just a gift. We talked about
Ooh.
this before. You have to be careful about what is holy and what is evil. And things that are evil aren't always going to show themselves
Is a-
as evil and good.
is a
I
medium
mean, evil
evil?
and bad, they're going to show it as good.
Is a
No.
medium evil?
I'm
No.
not saying it's evil. What I'm telling you is this, Eric. Look at from a scriptural standpoint. Are spirits and demons involved? Can they be? What does scripture tell us about it?
Okay.
You're trying to look at it from your own perspective and figure out life from your own brain and not using scripture. And that's fine.
Yeah.
I choose to use scripture. And
You want a manual. You want a
I
manual.
almost feel like you have an issue with me
No.
because I refuse to do this because I give you and I teach you as you ask me to teach you, and
Right.
I am, but you're not listening to what I'm teaching. I have no problem if you do this. And I didn't have to let it on the show. I've let it on the show twice. And
Yeah.
I like Shannon as
It's
a
a
person from what I know
fascinating
about her.
debate. It's a fascinating debate to see what a Muslim, a Catholic, a Jew would talk about in the same room, because they're
a
all
Muslim,
so
a Catholic,
different.
and a Jew.
It's all religion, and they
It's
all
all-
have their own. They all have their
No,
own
Eric,
documentation.
You've even admitted that you say weird, wild things. That has nothing to do with what scripture says regarding
They all have their
mediums.
own scripture.
And all three do not go with a medium.
Do they not?
No.
I don't know.
No, they don't, Eric. That's what I'm saying.
I don't
And
feel like I'm
Eric,
an evil
I
person.
love you that you want to jump in and your heart is in the right spot, but use some education with it too, though.
But I mean, Vic's not looking at us like we're evil because
No,
we think this
hell
either.
no.
He's not. That's not what he's
never
saying
have
either.
I ever done that.
Some people
you
accept
guys have
it.
put me
Some
in the
do not.
position. Yes.
Some people accept
And
it.
just
some do not.
remember, as Bendy tells us, remember, Eric, you have to be careful. Everything isn't going to come as all sweet. That's all like that. Satan himself was the most beautiful angel before he was cast down. meaning evil is not always going to come in an evil package. More often than not, it'll come as something sweet.
He'll look
nice.
like Tabitha.
It's the poison
Just
and the
kidding,
sweet.
Tab.
Yeah, Shannon was talking to me the other day
I'm just
about
staying out of all this.
wanting to come into town and do like an event.
And I think she should.
Yeah, I do too.
Eric,
I
from
absolutely
great,
think she
Eric
should.
to add some levity to the situation. Great White Mike said, Eric, the Muslim would hack those heads off of people
Yeah.
if they were trying to connect with spirits. Hey,
True
if
story,
you got something out
maybe.
of it, Eric, I'm sincerely
Well,
And
here's-
I was hoping to find out
because
what
you're
you
my
got out of
friend.
it, but you guys have went down some other channel.
Well, okay, Vic, how do you?
That's
well,
not Vic going down the other channel. I've tried to get
Shannon's-
Shannon.
Did you
several
see
times.
Shannon's text?
No, I'm trying to talk about. Oh, you mean talk about Shannon? Is that
I
what you
love
mean?
that people think I'm a beautiful demon, she said.
That's
Uh,
pretty funny.
I
Nobody
like
thinks
Shannon
that,
as a
Eric.
person. She's a phenomenal person. She has a lot of interest that we could talk to her about besides being a medium, like paranormal type things that we talk about often on the show.
Mm.
She has a lot of different interests. And
she was ecstatic about your crime blog.
yes, I have her crime blog. We talked about that. You know, she's a phenomenal person. And I'll tell
Yeah,
you
we'll
what,
have her back on.
absolutely so. And when I had my experience with her, we literally talked for 3 hours. And there were things that came out of it that I'm just telling you, she would have never known. Never in a
Yeah, but
million
is that
years.
a? I
They were subtle
yeah,
things.
yeah.
You know, I think people go into this thinking you're going to get this bombshell. My mom's going to come down and say, honey, I'm here. I'm standing in front of you and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work that way.
It's weird, man. I mean, everybody, I do it because the loss that I have when people die around me, I just go nuts. I mean, I really hold on to that kind of
And there's nothing
mourning
wrong
for
with
a
that.
long time.
You are so upset. And I was about my brother too. And Eric, this is when our faith comes into play. I know how devastated you were when your sister passed away. I was so devastated when my brother passed away. It was my younger brother. It was so hard. But when your faith comes into play and you say, okay, I know God tells us, he tells us
Yeah.
that there is something after this, that if we live a good life, there is something after this. And if you have that faith, then you don't have those questions when someone moves on.
I don't know how you could be an atheist and deal with someone that you love dying. I really
I don't either,
I
quite
cannot
honestly.
figure. You would have to literally put me on Prozac and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff because I don't know that I could handle it. But doing the research of the afterlife and you go online and there's certain little things that you garner from it and you go to a medium and they say something, you say everything's okay, everything's gonna be all right. Then that programs your brain to go down a path, and it's that path that says everything's cool. That's the magic of it for me anyway. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to the party at this point. I'm gonna get up there and jam it out, man. I'm gonna have
Yeah.
a good time.
You think you have music stuff going on up there?
Man, I hope there'd be some great like collaboration
And-
bands up there that would be
And
amazing.
Scotty, here's what I always think.
Beethoven with Kurt Cobain, you know, I mean, come on, think about
Here's
that.
what I always think. You ever go into a bar? This is between me and Scotty, so you guys won't even understand this.
That's
You
how
go
it's
into
been
a-
the last 10 minutes.
You go into a bar and there's the band's up there and it's like it's the varsity squad of the guys in the town and you're like, man, I want to go up there and jam. And you're like, I'm not worthy of that. Never. That's what it
Up
would
there, you can't be like.
Yeah.
Hey guys, this is Cancel This. We love you joining us every day. The show continues to grow. We appreciate it so much. We are doing a show Monday. We'll do it because we have Monica booked. So we will be in Monday. There's no issue with that, guys, is there?
I'm out.
8 o'clock. Monica Adams. We will be talking news, local news for a while. What she has coming up in her life and her podcast. You won't want to miss that as well. Guys, we put another week on this. Having fun. You guys having fun?
Most of the time.
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Tabitha.
The look on her face.
I'm pleading the fifth.
Tabitha. You're like the kid when you save all your money so you can take the kids to Six Flags. You go, did you guys
Thanks
have
for
fun?
joining us, Shannon.
And they go, yeah, it was okay. You're like, I just saved all my money for nothing. You're having a good time, aren't you?
Always. But I'm always happy it's Friday because I love Free for All Friday.
John, join us next week. John says, one day I would really like to share something with each of you that will demonstrate there is life after death, and most experience this without even knowing.
Would love to see it, John.
Love it.
There you go. And John was all right, we love it. All right, guys. Thank you. It's Cancel This. Scott Gherkin, Eric Johnson, Tabitha Hassel. I'm Vic Faust. CancelThisShow.com. Continue to share the show. Continue to share the show. Continue to share the show. Get on all the platforms, like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Have an awesome Friday. We'll see you next time for Cancel This.